Okay, I know you don't like K-Bubbles, but Marie and Cassandra, huh? And I also might only think it's fake because I'm watching the chat at the same time. Like I can see all the down, you know, the down votes or thumbs down or an alien spam.
Such a good friend. Why don't you like this?
Driving off from people in the water? Bye, everybody. It was nice knowing you all.
Just jump far enough forwards.
Let me see. Are they still doing it? Like, Yes,
yes, yes. Oh my god, yes. Oh my god, yes.
I should get the eye tracker out.
Wow.
Let's not forget that Caroline's crying at the resort right now. Not fun.
Alright, let's go to the island. Is everyone on?
Oh, wait, hold on. How do I, Oh, by the way, I don't, this didn't go through, but, Moises, that, late Andy, the guy who's always late, donated and said, Yo, lame-a-foe, this is dope. Thank you for the $1. What was I just saying? Oh yeah, is Mizkif filming at this time? I always forget he's here because he's not speaking. But is this Mizkif behind the behind the camera?
Speaking of off-camera, the chat from the 2 always asks streamers to expose eyes, but they say off-camera has a good guy and they've never seen him do coke. Do you agree or no?
Do I agree that off-camera he's a good guy? Yes. I mean, he's done questionable things, you know, but I wouldn't say it's enough. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, I don't want to... The thing is, I'm always kind of worried about these kind of questions because if I say, like, oh, yeah, Ice is a good guy, and then someone says, oh, but then he scammed his viewers out of that, you know, trip to L.A., like, I would consider that a really bad thing. So then my answer, like, I don't want to put myself in a position where, like, I'm arguing in something that I actually don't believe. So he's not like a mean guy. He's not like, you know, one of those celebrities who was like always hating on people and looking down on people and calling people out. The stuff that he did on stream that you all know about is what he should be judged for. He never did anything off stream that I think he should, that you guys don't know about. Like nothing crazy. You know what I mean? And they ever seen him do coke? No, I've never seen him do coke. Is coke the one where you sniff it and like on the table? I mean, I'm only asking because I've never seen him do coke. Like I'm just curious because I know there's a lot of different drugs and I don't know all the names, so I've never seen him do that. No, I have seen him sniff his nose though, so the judges or the jury's still out on that one. Oh, and Moses, you asked my top 5 IRL streamers. I really couldn't give you my top 5. That might take a little bit of thinking, but honestly, I know people always like to push an IRL streamer down a spot over something they've done, but Paul is still my number 1. It would take a lot more time for him to fall, but even though I think what Blade and Bjorn and Bonklings are doing is very cool, you know, I don't just like put them at the top right away. You know, after a certain amount of time, maybe they'll go to the top, but they haven't done enough yet. So he's probably still like number 1, and then everyone else is number 2, I guess. Even though I don't watch Paul anymore, you know, I still appreciate what he did for IRL and what he did for me and stuff like that. So I think that's pretty cool. All right, I think that's it.
Island!
Yes! Take care. You got it, take Paul. Oh, yeah, I got you.
Yes, my baby. It is saved. My baby is saved. Oh, hey, everyone. How you doing?
Is he... This is a 40-minute highlight?
How is there...
Different girls. In the first place because you ran up to me and punched me in the face.
Came up to me and said that he was saying I'm fucking all these different girls, blah blah blah, and that they hire a high-end resort that was disrespectful of you, and they wanted to
Disrespectful of me? I disagree. I'm like, yeah, fuck her, I fucked you, I fucked who? I fucked. Yeah, who gives a shit? What the fuck's the resort care?
They said that it was disrespectful and that you have high-end clientele here, and that was very unprofessional. So I
Okay,
just
so
tried
it's
to-
professional to go out.
They're still, so after, this is probably what, like half an hour into the stream, they're still doing it.
Y'all do not have it? What happens? What happens? We have two big clients.
They got the key. These motherfuckers had the key.
Who was here for this live? Was anyone here that was? I'm assuming a lot of you were, because I think Danequan at this point had 17,000 viewers. I'm really good at remembering like how many viewers everyone had at certain times. I'm pretty sure Daquan had like 17,000, and like whoever was streaming before him, I think it was Paul or whoever had the camera in that last shot, had like 24,000. And I will say one cool thing that came out of this whole thing was that when Paul's stream would go down, like 17,000 people right away switched to Danequan's stream. Like people who had never gone to Danequan's stream, never before. I don't even know if we had a website at this point. This was the second RV trip, right? So actually we might have had a website by this point. This was like the first iteration of iceposeidon.com built by Drillfork for RuneScape Gold, right? Do you guys, to those of you who were here, do you remember switching streams like back and forth from Daquan to, I don't know who else was streaming, Tracksuit Andy maybe, Chad, then to Paul. Like that was crazy. That was one fun thing, I will say. Oh look, and there's my name, Jacob. I don't know why they're saying Jacob. That guy knew. Oh, by the way, do you guys want to look at this and comment about it, or do you not care? Because I don't really care, but I think it's pretty funny. I like watching old VODs. I mean, they're kind of soothing in a way. Trill pork. Whatever happened to him?
No.
I like how they're still spamming the aliens. Hey Blade, how you doing? I see you in the chat. Good job on your streams, dude. I love them. Oh, right, real quick. I know you guys probably won't believe me, but even though they probably talked about what to do before they went live, none of this was like, you know, I don't think any of this was scripted. Like, I don't think they planned to go to Horseshoe Bay so Paul could be exposed. Like, I don't think you guys even think that, but just in case you were wondering, just because I've never been actually asked, no, like, I don't think any of this was actually planned. Unless Paul is this huge mastermind that's been planning stuff for years without telling me, it's very unlikely.
He's about to get arrested for assault or some shit, dude. Chemical warfare, bro. He's just a criminal, bro.
No, let's skip. Let's skip.
Ooh, that tickled. Whose hair is that? Whose hair?
Paradigm terrible. Like at superpowers. Maybe.
My shit at 2%. You got
Officer Diaz.
Is that TV got a reflection?
I remember hearing back when this was going on that when the cops walked into the room, Chad and Asian Andy and Danequan were naked. Does anyone remember hearing that? Yeah, why would he plan to expose himself? I know, but that's what people always ask. So I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I do not think so. SSJ was the mastermind. Let me say, I don't know for sure, but yeah, I'm going to go ahead and guarantee that before I went live, he had a very long conversation with SSJ. Oh, by the way, I checked the names on those tracksuit and Ice Poseidon donations, and it's not really them, so they still owe me.
I probably exposed the hell out of mine.
Wait, do you guys remember that picture of Chad, Danequan, and Asian Andy all naked on the bed? Do you remember when that was circulating? That's so funny.
They asked me if I wanted one. I said no.
Here, you're the camera guy.
Tell her about the sweater.
Okay, hold on, wait. I'll give you some quick background information. Okay, so I did not know anything like about this. Like, I did not know this was going to happen. I didn't know they were going to Horseshoe Bay. I didn't know Caroline was in Horseshoe Bay. I had no idea what Horseshoe Bay was. But before this happened, okay, so it happened like what time Texas time? Like noon or something? Like maybe 1 p.m. So in LA time, that's like 11 a.m., right? So I'm at my house, 11 a.m. I'm living in a studio, like efficiency studio, so I'm just kind of like sitting in my chair, I guess, doing work or something. And I get a call from Scuff Steve Jobs. And I wish I remember what he said. This was before Paul went live. I wish I remembered what he said, but he said something's about to go down. He told me something's about to go down and to not respond to anyone on Reddit. And I'm like, the first thing I ask is, of course, what are you talking about? Wait, can you guys, how's the audio? Can you not hear me? I ask him, what are you talking about? And he says, K-Bubbles and Ice had sex. Just out of the blue. And at this point, I know that Caroline and Paul are back together. I've known for about either a month or 2 months by this point. If they got back together in January, and this happened in the summer, I found out after like 4 to 5 months. So I know they're back together. So I'm kind of like, and Brent knows too. So I asked him, like, what do you mean they had sex? Like, Caroline's there, isn't she? Because I had already been reading the Reddit, and I knew that everyone was figuring things out. They were like, Caroline's here, K-Bubble's here, what's going on? And I'm like, how do you know they had sex? What are you talking about? Because Brent had a tendency to always exaggerate things. And Brent says, I watched them. And I'm like, what do you mean you watched them? And he's like, I watched them have sex. And I said, what? like you have to understand, this is not normal talk. Like, this is out of the blue call at 11 a.m. from Paul's manager, like telling me something big's about to happen. So if there were any Ice Poseidon stocks at that time, I would have made out like a pirate. Oh, and by the way, my personal opinion is that they actually didn't have sex, but when Brent says they had sex, he's referring to the blowjob that K-Bubbles gave Paul in front of everyone. And I hope you guys know about that, because I'm pretty sure you guys know about that. I've heard that said before. Okay? So like when Brent says I watched them, what he probably means is I watched her give him a blowjob. I don't think that they actually had sex. And the reason I think that is because, like, when you know someone for a long time, you start to pick up on little things that they say, and you start to figure out what they actually meant, right? So, like, because I know Paul for so long, whenever Paul would say something, I would be like, oh, this is what he actually means. And 100% of the time, I would always be right. So when it came to Brent, it was the same thing. Like, when he said, oh, I watched them have sex, what he actually meant was, I watched her give him a blowjob.
In your opinion, what was the downfall of Ice? The community or his own ego?
Thank you, Trip, very much. I would say it was large majority. Okay, so when you say downfall, I'm assuming you mean like his reign of 15K viewers to his current 1K viewers, right? 100% his ego. Well, hold on. 95% his ego, but 5% his community. Because a toxic community is always going to cause problems, right? You can deal with it, but to say it was 100% his fault is crazy. Like, there's always going to be there's always going to be a little bit of the community that caused problems for him, and you have to count them in questions like that. But I would say mostly, like, I mean, if someone goes late every day and they never skip to a schedule and they constantly lie, like, how exactly can I say that's anything but the streamer's fault? Like, you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, there are people in the community that would always go after him, and they would cause problems for him that would make, they would make him doubt himself. They would put him in a bad mood. They would get rid of sponsors, meaning that he couldn't afford the best stuff, which isn't exactly true, but it's kind of, true. It's like there's a little bit of that in there. So yeah, a little bit of the community, but let's be honest, it's mostly him. That was from Trip. Thank you, Trip. What was I talking about? And I also don't think that's mean to say. Like, Paul knows he went late every day for 3 years. Paul knows he hadn't had a schedule for 3 years. Paul knows he's lied for 3 years. Like he chose to do that. You know what I mean? It's like someone who eats junk food every day. Like someone who eats junk food every day will get fat and they'll get unhealthy. And it's not really bad to say you're fat because you eat junk food every day. They're choosing to eat junk food every day because it's good, they like it tastes good, and they have to deal with the consequences of being fat, you know? At any time, if you wanted to change all the things, if at any time he wanted to change anything that made him fat, then he can do so, and I'll applaud him for that. But, you know, until that happens, who else can you blame?
Oh, is that live? Are you...
And I know he says he's never had a schedule. Bad excuse.
I love you so much.
I don't even want to watch this. Oh my goodness. Oh look, there's the iconic picture. There's the iconic picture. Also, I should say I'm very stupid and anything I say is not 100% true. I mean, in terms of my opinion. Like, who knows if I'm in the right here.
Caroline, come out. See, now the police are here, and there's complaints about you screaming.
I'm not screaming.
You have to come out of the room.
I'm in the bedroom.
The police, they're going to arrest you if you don't go see the police.
I'm not screaming. I'm in bed crying.
And then little stuffs like getting kicked off live stream fail was like a huge problem, which of course would be, I mean, that's pretty much 100% his fault. Like, I don't know if you can blame the community for that one.
It's everything. I didn't bring anything.
Who's?
This is my room. This is my whole condo. Everything in here is hers. And all the bathroom shit, everything. Hold on. Caroline, stop. You're gonna get arrested. You're gonna get arrested.
Someone called.
It doesn't matter. Just stop. You're gonna get
I
arrested.
was in bed with the covers over my head.
Listen.
Alright, I don't like this.
Jackson Andy, you should go record Steve Jobs talking to Mitch Jones.
Mitch Jones?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because then people have both sides.
Both sides?
Why was Mitch involved in this?
Now, what the fuck do you do when you have a dirty dick in your ass and you've been fucked so hard that you can't even get yourself anymore because you're so walled up, you know what I mean? Like, I put up 5,000 walls now, so I fucking feel like I'm gonna get attacked everywhere I go, you know?
I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted.
This is kind of ironic because like Paul's going through kind of the same thing that Mitch was going through at this time, and here he is dancing in front of Mitch, like you know, opening his heart to him. I mean, I guess that's kind of the allure of Paul, but it's just funny.
Like, here's the thing, Mitch. You're both versions though. Like the good version of you and the bad version of you are the same person. So like, but yeah, but the biggest difference is whenever you are at your high, you don't try to solidify times that'll help you in your bad times. I mean, do you think the guy that I work with, Voldemort, has any, like, do you think he trusts everybody? No, but he ended up trusting me, he ended up trusting Jacob, he ended up trusting
Hey, it's me.
Dad, and like, he's much happier because of that. Like,
No, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I think I'm just trusting certain people, for sure.
absolutely. Pick some people. I mean, pick anybody. It doesn't matter. Pick some people and just bring their trust.
Alright, well, yeah, thank you for talking to me, Scott. I appreciate it, man. Seriously. And, like, dude, I was actually, like, 10 or 20 minutes ago in, like, one of the worst places really ever. You know? For some reason, the chat fucking brought me out of that. Like, I don't know. I guess the community helped me and brought me out of that.
Oh, that's good. Good job.
Thank you, Scott. And, you can let me talk to Mizkif for a second.
Yeah, I'll give you the Mizkif.
Oh, I forgot. Mitch was friends with Mizkif at the time. That's probably why he's on the phone. Look at him go.
I can't believe Ice grabbed you. I'm gonna go. Give me the phone. Can we go now? Yeah. We pack up and get in the room.
What's up? I just don't want to drive to LA. That's so far. It's like a fucking dirt.
Is this when SSJ crashed the RV and then later said that it was Sam? Isn't it this night? I think it was.
It's a 30-hour drive, dude. Are we not leaving tonight, or?
It's been 3 hours since I asked everyone, so no.
Dude, we're already
You should mute your phone.
This is just such a nice
Yeah, you guys need to
room
relax.
to not. You want to go to RV right now?
Hey Jacob. Enough of these softball questions. Here's what we all want to know. How big is your dong? And did Kim really cry when you shoved it in her? But really you should do a 2 recap for the content. Call Ice Piss he as crying.
Thank you, LOL. How big is my dong? I think it's, I don't know. I've never measured it because I'm a grower, so I would have had to like measure it when I was erect. And I'm pretty sure, let me think for a second. I'm going to say like 6 inches, like average probably. I don't really know. To be honest, that's the first time I've ever been asked that. Well, by you know, on stream before. And no, Kim did not cry because why would she cry? That's ridiculous. Oh.
Do you not remember the constant hate he got for dating Caroline? He couldn't go out without getting swatted or sit at a bar or restaurant without callers getting him kicked out. They still go after his sponsors. He is at fault, but assholes didn't help.
Yes, I 100% think that. But the question was why for his low viewer count. I don't think that the swatters were directly. It's a very complicated question. It's like a loaded. It's like a loaded, complicated question. I could write a whole essay on whether or not swatting is correlated to ICE's drop in view count. Like, how can you possibly, like, you can, but it would be like you'd have to write a whole hypothesis and you have to explain your reasoning. Like, yes, I understand the community is toxic. I wasn't saying it wasn't, but I just don't know if you can say on the surface that that directly contributed to his now, 1.2 or 2K viewership. Yeah, 6 inches. That's pretty average, right? Like, I know what a ruler looks like, and I would say it's about half the size of a ruler. The only thing is, when it's full... actually, I'm not going to talk about this now. I'll stay tuned for the 18+ stream later tonight. Write the essay. You guys get what I mean, though. Like, it's very, very difficult to say what causes a streamer to fail. Like, if you were to ask me what caused Mitch to go from 10Ks to 1Ks back when he was 1K Andy, like a year ago, like a bunch of things, like a bunch of dominoes had to fall for that to be possible. Okay.
$30 burgers, oh! Wait, $15 for a hamburger?
I think also this is where I stopped watching at this point. Not the streams in general, but just the Horseshoe Bay stream. Like, I don't remember any of this.
Okay, how much are nachos? How much is a hot dog? How much is a meatball sandwich?
$13 for a sneak?
K Bubbles has come a long way, hasn't she? Look at her now.
Meatballs for like $5 each.
Yo, anyone here watch Mitch? What's going on with K Bubbles and Mitch? Because anytime I see a Mitch clip on Livestream Fails, K Bubbles is right behind him. And apparently he's in Los Angeles with her. And they're staying at Reynad's house. But are they like in a relationship together or are they just friends? Like, how does this work? Because like thinking about both of their personalities, you would think they're in a relationship. But I don't know. I need Mitch people to tell me.
Alright, do you guys have a vending machine? Can you get someone to bring us some stuff to the vending machine?
Fish moly is thick. Maybe. I've seen some pictures that confirm that.
Can't we just leave the resort and come back?
We don't have a car.
You don't want to go back to the RV? Yeah, I'm down to go to the RV as well.
I would say all of that leads to him not wanting to stream or do Earl, which leads to lower view count.
Yes, and Pop, I would agree with you. A lot of things lead to that kind of stuff. And yeah, switching from... Did I do that? Switching from...
that lead to him not wanting to stream or do Earl, which leads to lower view count.
Yeah, a huge reason for it is because he switched the type of content he does. I mean, that's just the reality. I have no doubt that a few thousand definitely left because they just don't like him anymore, but switching your content will definitely kill your viewer base. What percentage that is from people who left because they don't like him, I mean, I have no idea. I mean, if he averaged like 10K, I wouldn't be surprised if it's 50-50. I mean, that kind of makes sense to me.
Were you involved with the stream where Ice and Caroline faked her car being stolen and hired the fake cop shop cops? This is another reason why people hated Caroline, because the streams changed. Fake car being stolen BTW. Faked events? Tell us.
No, I was not involved with that. Like I said before, when you know kind of like how things go behind the scenes, you can kind of like make a very, very educated guess of how things really went down. So although I don't have any proof and I actually have no idea myself, I'm going to go ahead and guess that what happened was that Caroline's... Tell me if I'm misremembering this. What I think happened is Caroline's friend, the one who was helping her with the construction on her house, was having problems with Caroline because, you know, women, and she moved Caroline's car without telling her as kind of like a, you know, you're a bitch, I can do whatever I want type of deal. And then when Caroline saw that, because she likes kind of like the drama, dash dolls type stuff, she played it up on Paul's stream and then told everyone that her car was stolen, even though she probably knew that her friend just took it. I don't believe those cops were hired, and the reason I don't believe that is because out of all the cops that were on Paul's stream over his 2 years in LA, which is like what, 50, maybe 60 individual cops, one of them working as an actor in his spare time is not crazy. Like, I think it's honestly just a coincidence, if you want my honest opinion.
Fuck. Oh fuck, that hurt. Where are we going?
I think the drama's over in this VOD. She was her mom's friend, is what I was told. Like, friend of her mom.
Yeah, we really need to hitchhike.
Haley, put your leg out. Put your leg out, Kay.
Yeah, the rest of this is pretty much boring.
What is going on?
Faked events, tell us, LOL, you also wanted to know that. I mean, events like Fear Factor and stuff, like, I don't know how we could fake that. Like, everyone who appeared in those events was 100% real and a fan of the stream, so, you know, like, what could have possibly been scripted about that? No, I don't know anything else. The only thing I know for sure that was scripted, do you guys remember when, you guys actually already know this, but a lot of you may have not been around then or may have forgotten. Do you guys remember when Paul and Greek made a post on the Reddit saying if I get so-and-so many upvotes that I'll post a picture of my dick, like an unedited picture, like without any censoring? And then they, I don't know, they like went live and then Scuff Steve Jobs called them and said, you can't post that picture, because the post ended up getting the necessary amount of upvotes for them to have to post the real nude photo. Do you guys remember this? And then SSJ like called them on stream and said, you can't post that, it'll ruin your image, or something like that. Something like, it was like 2 years ago. This was like right when I was hired. That's the only thing I know was actually scripted, because I remember them saying they talked to SSJ before he called and like planned it all out. That was funny. Yeah, but those were good times. Sam Pepper was the beginning of the end. If you guys weren't around back then, I was actually hired the day Ice landed in England for his Europe trip, for his 1 month Europe trip in 2017. That was when, that was actually my first day of starting for him. That was like July 1st or June 1st. It was the first of something. 35K upvotes, really? Ugh. I know you guys want me to do a Reddit recap. I don't mind doing one, but I don't want to do one right now. Like, what can I possibly say? It's probably all a bunch of random stuff that I've never seen before. Well, actually, that's not true, because I kept up with the RV trip, and it's probably all RV trip stuff, right? I will do a Reddit recap, don't worry. The anticipation is what makes it great.
Also, what is your thoughts on Ice's sexuality? He seems to struggle and appear bisexual or full-blown gay and in denial.
I don't think he's bisexual, but I think his humor is just very immature, so it comes off as like him being gay, if you want my honest opinion. Like, all the stuff all the stuff he used to say on stream that he did, like with him and Voldestad, I never once actually saw that in real life, and obviously I never like asked him about it, so I don't even know if any of that is true. But I don't like. I guess it's weird to say that I have no proof that he's bisexual, because all he does is talk about gay stuff and kiss men and talk about how he does things that would imply he is bisexual. But you know, I honestly think he's memeing. Again, as I said, when you know for someone for so long, you can kind of tell the truth. You can tell what they're saying, what's the truth and what's not, like instantly the second they say it. And I honestly have always just thought he's been joking. Now, does he walk around naked and take his dick out every opportunity? Of course, and that's not exposing him. He wants you to know that. He loves that you know that. I think if anything, he's an what's that word? Exhibitionist? He loves being naked. Him and Voldestad are great roommates, because if any other two roommates did that to each other, I'm sure there would be some major problems. He kissed over 20 guys on stream. I know, but I honestly think that's just because he thinks it's funny. Like, if he does that, and then you guys post about it, and then you lull at it, and then you talk about it, he thinks that you like it. It's like a dog. Like, if you treat him well, he's going to want to do it more. Bjorn just DM'd me and asked me if I want to come on the next RV trip. No. Bjorn, I'm very sorry. I would love to see you, honestly, but I cannot go on a month-long RV trip. That is, like, I have a life here, and I have to move soon, and a ton of stuff. But thank you so much for the offer. That's really nice of you. I hope you guys make it the month. I really do. I know nothing about cars, but I know that... what's that guy's name? Nate? Is it Nate? I think it's Nate, right? Is it Bam or Nate? Which one's the guy who bought the RV? I think Nate says he's working on it, and I've met Nate once or twice, and he seems like a pretty competent guy, so I think it's fine. Hey, should I expose Bjorn? Here's the expose. He's only been ever a nice and wonderful person. At least to me. I don't know what he's doing to other people. Who knows what's really going on?
Expose Mizkif. How much gay shit did he do with Paul? That is the ultimate leech move. Also, how pathetic was it for Ice to run away to Austin in the hopes to leech off of Soda Poppin'?
I don't remember Mizkif ever doing anything weird with Paul besides those pictures of them, like, you know, like close together and stuff. Why? Was that a meme or something? Or was that like something that people talked about? I actually don't remember that. I know. Oh wait, I think I remember people memeing like recently, like in the past 6 months or so, that Paul like raped Mizkif. I saw a few people say that on like Livestream Fail. I think that's just a joke because he used to be involved in CX. I don't think there was anything ever really weird, you know, with Mizkif and Paul. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and guess no. That is the ultimate leech move. Well, I don't think he did anything. So I guess he was not doing anything leechy. How pathetic was it for Ice to run away to Austin in hopes to stream off of Soda Poppin'? So this is something I talked to Ice a lot about before he left. He and Voldestad can attest to this. I really didn't want him to move to Austin, and the main reason was because there was two parts. the first thing I told him was that I didn't want him to ruin, quote unquote, a city that a lot of other streamers were currently in, because then he would get a lot of, Miz confirmed it? No, he didn't, did he? Why would he say that? Oh, well then, I guess it's true. Like, I don't know. If he confirmed it, I don't know why you're asking me. I don't know. The first thing I said to him about Austin is that I didn't think it was a good idea to move to Austin, because if he continued to do the type of streams he was doing, he would ruin it for all the other streamers that were currently there, and he would get a lot of unnecessary, well, maybe not unnecessary, but he would get a lot of hate. If you guys have ever watched Mizkif or E-Rob or Esfon streams, they go to all these places like arcades, and they never get callers. They never get kicked out. They never have any problems. So my concern was that Paul would go to Austin, go to the exact same places because, hey, small world, and then he would get kicked out, and now the managers and owners would always think we can't accommodate, what's that word I'm thinking of? We can't help streamers. We don't want to be involved with streamers, yada, yada, yada. So that was the first reason, and which, by the way, I was actually wrong about that, because he ended up actually changing. Like, he actually managed to actually change his content and the kind of stuff he was doing. So he really hasn't caused as many problems as I thought. The other reason I told him he shouldn't go is because I was really afraid that people would forever associate his move with being a leech. Now, I wasn't calling him a leech at the time, but I was afraid that everyone would see it that way. You know what I mean? Like, streamer who's down on his luck moves to city of streamers. It just has a bad taste to it. You know what I mean? Especially on Twitch, where everyone's a leech no matter what you do. So imagine moving to a city where all the Twitch streamers live, or not all of them, but you know, it's like a big hub for Twitch streamers. So, accommodate, right? I'm an idiot. I know he still gets callers, but it's different from what it was, and that's what I thought. And whether or not that's true, that was my big concern. I thought even moving to Dallas or Houston would be better, because I thought it would be forever associated with his time there. You know, no matter how long he stays in Austin, no matter how long, I was always fearful that people would forever just say it was a leech move. And I really can't say if that's the truth. I mean, you tell me what you guys think. You know, he obviously disagreed, and that's fine. I think if you can handle it, you know, might as well move where you want to. But yeah, that was what I told him.
You are being trolled into doing something Ice would hate, which is zip to recap. Don't fall for it. It's a cesspool that makes shit up.
Thank you, Jew. Jew, is that your name? Jehu? I know. I would. Don't get me wrong. If I do a Reddit recap, I'm not gonna. I have to imagine that there's quite a few posts that are just straight hate on Paul, which I don't care to get into for a number of reasons. But if there are any memes, I'll comment on them and stuff. I always found that when I was a viewer watching, I would constantly spam Reddit recap. It was my favorite thing in the world for Paul to do a Reddit recap. And even with the other CX streamers, I loved when they did Reddit recaps. So I understand why you guys want it. It's really, for some reason, it's entertaining watching people go over memes. I guess that's why PewDiePie is so popular with his. So I totally get it. Oh yeah, Ice don't know.
This is how stupid people are from Iptus. Paul is banned from Twitch and couldn't be on stream with Soda. It's just dumb. I think you wanted out of LA.
Yeah, I mean, no one really knows the real reason to move there besides Paul. Everyone can guess, and I mean, even I would guess that he moved there because of the streamers. Like, I know that he wanted to move out of LA, but you know, how many cities are there in the United States? Thousands, and he just happens to pick that one. I would never call him a leech or anything. I just think that, you know, sometimes you have to worry about what other people think about you, because that also causes problems. You know, someone asked me earlier what contributes to a low view count, and the reason I had trouble answering it is because it's so many things. So many things contribute to a low view count. It's not just one thing, unless you I don't know, rape someone, or if you scam someone with CS:GO skin with a CS:GO skin website, then you could say it's one thing. But with Paul, I feel like it's so many things that I completely lost my train of thought. What was I saying? What I was saying was that when someone in their mind thinks that the streamer they like is a leech, and they think that it's less of them to go move to another city and be like the small guy, that could also contribute to people not watching. You know what I mean? They're like, wow, I don't want to be on the losing team, so they might stop watching. So that's what I was getting at. Yeah. Also, yeah, I mean, Texas is a cool state. I would love to move there. I've always wanted to move to Austin. I remember back, every time Paul was kicked out of one of his apartments, I told him that I'd be totally fine with moving out of LA. And we didn't have a CX network at this time, so it was totally viable. And when we started looking for streamer houses, I was always telling Brent, like, hey, why don't we do it in another state like Texas? Because we could get a enormous property. We could buy 7 properties for half the price that you want to spend on this mansion. And I was always met with a 100% no. So Austin was always a place in my mind. I thought it was a real, and this was, by the way, this was before like Mizkif and E-Rob and K-Bubbles and all these guys moved there. So it wasn't really known as the streamer hub yet. It was just like Wreckful Mitch and Impol, the what's that guy's name? Soda Poppin's roommate or friend. So yeah, I mean, Austin has always been a place that I have been pitching him, so I'm sure it was always kind of in his mind, but yeah.
Hey Jacob, there's one person in chat that has always been your #1 fan. Can you give a shout out to Beep? Thanks bro, and thank you for doing this stream.
Yeah, thank you Nick for the $2, and shout out to Beep. I appreciate you always posting hearts in the chat. I appreciate you always posting pictures of me in the Discord. You're a cool guy and or girl. I don't even know what gender you are. I would hope a girl, but you never know. If you're a guy, hey, that's cool too. Yeah, you know, the reason I can never remember his name is because it's spelled so weird, like Inimpol. I couldn't find him on Twitter at all the other day.
Here's a clip of Mizkif talking about what Paul did to him.
Alright, is this a troll? Hold on.
You can clip this if you want to. No man, and this is what Paul did, no man pulls a man's pants down and sticks his dick trying to get it in their asshole and isn't at least curious to trying to do it, right? Paul did that. So that's all I have to say. You can clip this if you want to.
Okay. I take back everything I said. I've never seen that clip before. Dude, that, you know, real quick, let me just say right before we get into this, I am so proud of Mizkif. Like, holy smokes. I remember, did you see in that clip he had 150 subs? Like, Mizkif's rise to infamy is so incredible. They should teach it in stream classes. Like, if they ever have a stream class, his name should be the name of some chapter. Like, he did so many things right. It's crazy. I am so incredibly happy for him. Maybe a little bit because I was watching him back when he was a 100 Andy, so, you know, I get a little bit of like, oh, I was there first. But, you know, aside from that, it's really cool to see that. He's also very talented, so that's pretty cool to see. I don't know. Maybe it's just because he's my friend. I seem to like it when my friends are successful, and then when people I don't know are successful, I'm like, ah. Does anyone remember how many viewers he had when I shouted out his podcast on Twitch? When he had a podcast that he did with Kyle, Axiom, and Victor. And I tweeted it out and I said, come join Mizkif on the Yes Man podcast. Whatever viewers he had at that point, let me say that I'm probably responsible for the rest of them, because that shout out probably gave him the boost that he needed. He probably went a few spaces higher on the ranking system, and that just, you know, the dominoes fell, and he eventually became the mega streamer we know today. So, yeah, that was all me. I made him.
Your stream is pinned on IP2. Everyone is here to just shit on ice. Take things people say with a grain of salt.
Thank you, Anonymous, for the $2. And yeah, I know that. I mean, come on. I knew what I was getting into when I went live. I know everyone likes to be, you know, I don't know what to say. Like they like the kind of stuff they're doing. They like to shit on ice, and it's kind of like the meta. Don't think I don't know that. But to be fair, I also like shitting on ice because I always feel a little bad when I shit on ice because like the only reason I do that is because that's the type of humor that I picked up because when I was watching ice. Like when I watched ice, and that's the kind of humor he taught me to like. Like I would say a lot of my humor is actually because I watched ice so much over the past 3 years. Like all those tweets I made and stuff. Let me ask you guys a question: were my tweets ever toxic, or were they just like funny jokes that were a little bit on the mean side? Because like I don't think anything I tweeted was ever toxic. Like the worst thing I ever tweeted was probably during BlizzCon when I tweeted at ICE and I said, "Do you get some sort of sick pleasure out of going live late?" Does anyone remember that? I tweeted, it was during BlizzCon, and Paul was supposed to go live at like, he was supposed to go live at like 3 p.m. And this is the time when we were trying to stick to a schedule. He ended up going live at like 7 p.m., so 4 hours late. And everyone's DMing me, yada yada, the whole thing. And I at him publicly on Twitter, and I say, "Do you get some sort of sick pleasure out of going late?" And that is actually the only time I've ever gotten in trouble. Like, I know you guys might think it's hard to, you might find it hard to imagine Paul getting mad at me and me actually getting in trouble. But I was Paul's employee, and that was the actually only time he ever was mad. Like, he actually I didn't get in trouble. Like, I didn't get like a punishment or anything. He didn't like bend me over and slap me. But he told me never to do that again. And I think actually that's pretty good because, you know, Ice is, I don't know if I'd say Ice has thick skin, but I would say he has thicker than the average person's skin, especially with all the stuff he gets sent all the time. So for him to only talk to me about that, I would say that's pretty good. I definitely liked our relationship. I will say I'm almost positive that Scuff Steve Jobs told him about that tweet because the night he told me, the night he got me in, not get me in trouble, the night he talked to me about that tweet, him and Scuff Steve Jobs were up in his room talking, and I heard my name a lot. So I think Scuff Steve Jobs told him that I shouldn't be doing that, which is fine, you know. I mean, that's actually probably a good thing for a manager to say. No 2K for you this month. Mate, I wasn't even getting 2K at that point anyway, but I'll get into that later. No 2K.
How big of an impact you think closing Reddit had on Ice's viewer count and his ultimate downfall? He dropped 2K, 3K in viewers few weeks after locking his Reddit and gradually more and more. How important role you think Reddit had overall?
Enormous. If I were to put anything as the number one reason his view count has dwindled, even though it might only edge out the others just a little bit, but I would say closing the Reddit was one of the biggest. It's very possible I might still be watching if the Reddit was still open. I guess we'll never know unless we go to Universe B where the Reddit wasn't closed. But then again, so many good things happened in that universe. How could we attribute it to the Reddit? But yeah, huge amounts of viewer count loss would probably go to the Reddit. Yeah, I mean, 2 to 3K, I would say even more than that left because of the Reddit closing. But you also have to remember that it's not only the Reddit closing that caused problems for him. It's the Reddit closing and then Ice Poseidon 2 gaining so much traction, which caused even more viewers to possibly leave. I don't know. I know that's a lot. Back in the early days of IP2, people wanted to ban Ice from the Reddit. And I remember them wanting to do this because they didn't want to give him any publicity. And there was like this war between two factions saying like half of them said, it's good that Ice is on here, it actually hurts him. And the other half were like saying, oh, we hate that he's on here, it's giving him traction. Did I say that right? Like one half liked it, one half didn't. And I don't know which side was right. Like who knows? The Reddit closing definitely hurt, but I'm not sure how much him being talked about constantly in IP2 hurt him. It definitely hurt him financially and stuff like that, but I don't know about viewer count. Is that all you asked for? Please don't toxic. Thank you for the $2.
Jacob, what is your honesty opinion of Casey the content god? You think you ready to take over the CX community?
Before I answer that real quick, I actually noticed, because I'm subscribed to all the other big streamers' Reddits, I've noticed that a lot of them talk about that Universe B thing, and that's pretty cool. I know it's not as cool as creating a meme, because it's not really a meme, it's kind of like a little inside joke, but I think that's pretty cool. Like, I think it's cool that my tweet kind of like went out, even though I know people talked about Universe B and stuff before that. Like, it's just like alternate universes are a common thing. Like, I think that tweet was pretty well done. If you don't mind me saying one good thing about my Twitter, I'm proud of it. Sorry. Acidad, thank you for the $3. You said, how big of an impact do you think closing? Oh wait, no. Wait, what? Oh, Ice Poseidon donated $3. Jacob, what is your honest opinion of Casey, the content god? Do you think he's ready to take over the CX community? Absolutely not. I 100% appreciate him for funding the RV trip, which gave me a lot of laughs, but I do not believe he in any way, shape, or form can take over the CX community. I don't believe the community as it is now, which is pretty... Like, when you say CX community, are you referring to, like, Ice Poseidon 2, or are you referring to Paul's current community? I know there's a huge overlap there, but I don't think he's ready to take over anything. Like... Casey has always been nice to me, and I never had any problems with him, but, I mean, he seems like a crazy person. Like, what do you mean? like, I don't know, like, he doesn't, like, when you meet someone, you just know if they're, like, responsible, you know what I mean? Like, I would never go into business with Casey. He can fund as many events as he likes, and I think that'd be great. Like, I have no problem with people spending their money on trying to give me content, but taking over a community, like, how does that even work? Anyone who tries to take over a community, you know, that's a good. Okay, so here's a good point. If you try to take over the community, if you ever say you're going to take over a community, you've already lost. Never call something your community. I can't remember who this was, but like a long time ago, one of the mods on Discord referred to ISIS community as like, we own the community. Do you remember this? I can't remember who did it, but that's really dumb. Never say that. Like, never, ever, ever say that. Because that is not only incredibly stupid, it's also incredibly wrong, and it's a little bit arrogant. So yeah, no one can ever own a community. I don't know, has he said that recently or something? Is that what you're asking me? But again, I do appreciate what he did with the RV. I mean, it's not easy letting people, you know, come on your RV and trash it, and then you are responsible for all the payments thereafter. Oh, was it Phineas who said that? I think I remember that now. Dude, I have not seen Phineas in a long time. Did he completely leave the community? Dude, after the FBI stuff, he just ditched. He's gone. Sayonara, Phineas. He's probably in some Guantanamo Bay type situation right now.
How big of an impact do you think closing Reddit had on S's viewer count? He lost 2,000 to 3,000 viewers almost immediately after locking it, and didn't get them back. What was Reddit's overall impact for his streams, etc.? Gives us our thoughts.
I think that might have been a repeat. I think I already responded to that one. Someone in the chat said, has SSJ ever threatened you? No. I do understand why you're asking that, but no, he never once threatened me. Surprisingly, me and SSJ never had many problems, because I feel like he was the only one who, or I'm sorry, I feel like I was the only one who ever, when I didn't like an idea, which was a lot, I would tell him, Brent, this is a bad idea, we're not doing it, and then he would immediately stop. Everyone else, he would push harder, but me, he would normally never continue. He would like, okay, then he would just hang up. So no, we never got in many arguments. The only time we got in an argument was when me and Paul both, I'm sorry, the only time me and him would get in an argument is when Paul and him would both go against me on something, which happened not often, not as often as you would think, mainly because I know SSJ is seen as like this mastermind who was a huge part of the Ice Poseidon world, but in reality, he was only a huge part for the Streamer House saga. Like, he was very much in the background for a lot of stuff. As someone who was actually in the background, like, he showed up on stream a lot, which was weird. I never knew why he wanted to do that. But he was a lot. He was in the background doing sponsor deals. So every sponsor deal I had nothing to do with. The only 2 sponsors I ever got ice was LiveU and Unlimited IRL. I contacted them. I managed him with that. I got him all the data and free streaming equipment backpacks he could ever need. And obviously, you know, it was free data and hardware. So there was no way I could take 20%. So that was just like as part of my job as the assistant. So the LiveU and the streaming stuff was LiveU and the Unlimited IRL data was the only deal I ever brokered for him. Scuff Steve Jobs was 100% in charge of every sponsor, and I had nothing, like I didn't even talk to him about it. Like I don't care what sponsors he took. I think except Live Me deal. The Live Me deal I probably could have given my input more, but ain't no chance he's listening to me when $50,000 a month is on the table. Oh, and by the way, I've heard a lot of talk about how much that Live Me deal was. Paul has said how much it was several times. Do you guys not believe him? Because it was $50,000 a month for a 12-month contract, which is $600,000 for a year. And if SSJ takes 20%, how much is 20% of 600,000? 20% of 50,000 is 10,000, right? So 40,000 times 12, which is what? Hey Siri, what's 40,000 times 12? 48,000. I'm an idiot, sorry. So it was a 480,000 deal pretty much. That's straight cash. Nothing, no clauses or, I mean there were clauses, but there were no like extra fees taken out or anything like that, besides taxes, which is incredible. I mean, imagine, oh, Gengar, I just got your message. I definitely want to watch highlights of that. Lataris actually deleted the video for the survival stream. So I'm going to have to message him and see if he can give me a private upload. Because I remember that highlight, and that was one of my favorite highlights, but he deleted it. $480,000. Yeah, so that was a really amazing deal. Like, that's incredible. Fantastic. Yeah, I don't know much about the whole 20% thing. Like, I know he was taking 20%, but I don't know if that's good, if it's a good rate. Like, it might be a good rate. Like, if he's getting deals like that all the time, I'd give him 20%. You also need to consider that Scuff Steve Jobs was a lot more involved than your average agent. Like, your average agent who takes, 10 to 15%. Because Destiny, when Paul had his talk with Destiny, Destiny told Paul that his management team took 10 to 15%. And Brent's only taking 5% more. And Brent was over at Paul's house all the time. He was calling him every day. And I don't think Destiny's team did that. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe 20% was too much. But for the amount of work he was putting in, I don't think 20% is crazy. Like, I definitely like the meme, and I think it's funny. And for a big deal like that, Paul should have included something in the contract that was like, if we go over a certain number, it goes down a percentage for each point I get. So for a big deal like the Live Me one, Brent wouldn't have got 120,000 or whatever. But yeah, I mean, those are the real numbers. Yeah, I mean, people can say 20% is a starting manager rate, but I don't really know. I'm like, I don't know Andy.
I've never heard Ice say one negative thing about you, so why do you think you learned to be negative about him now by watching his stream?
Thank you, B, for the $4. I think you misunderstood me, or maybe I misspoke. What I meant by that is my humor is somewhat negative because of Paul's streams, not about what he said about me. Like, Paul, like prank calling hookers and stuff like that. Like, if someone who's watched Howard Stern their entire life is probably going to have a much darker, more immature sense of humor that's more kind of like a little hate-based. Because, like, Paul made a joke to always hate. I don't want to say anything that's untrue. He made it a joke that people could go on his Reddit and make fun of people, right? They could make horrible, awful posts about anyone that came on the stream. Do you guys remember when Paul went to Amsterdam and that girl came up to him in the red light district and yelled at him for filming, and he put her face on camera, and then the entire Reddit for like 2 days was not 2 days, it's like 24 hours was non-stop pictures of this girl's face. Like, that's the kind of, and I thought it was funny, I thought it was hilarious, but that's the kind of stuff that I you know, grew up with. Like, I spent 3 years watching non-stop stuff like that. So I'm not saying that Paul was ever mean to me and I learned to be mean because of that. I'm just saying that he was, you know, his community and the type of streams he do, it was toxic. I mean, it was fun. It was supposed to be that way. Like, that was the whole point. You know, it was a bunch of misfits having fun. And that's why my tweets were always like that, because I thought he liked that and everyone else liked that. And I mean, for all I know, he did like it. But yeah, I don't mean to say anything mean about Paul. Like, I feel like a lot of stuff I'm saying is stuff that he's said over the past several years. Oh, real quick, I wanted to get into something. So I told you that the only time that we would argue is when Brent and Paul agreed on something and I didn't. So the first time this ever happened, because normally Paul just agreed with me, right? So the first time this ever happened was, and you guys are going to love this, the RV, the military truck. This was, I have so much stuff to say about the military truck. And I actually, when I got my stuff back and I thought, oh, I should go live. I thought people would ask me about the military truck. And I just wondered what I was going to say. Because the one thing I didn't want to be called when I did the stream is a panderer, right? Because I never felt like I pandered. People always said, a lot of people would think that I pandered to the Reddit. But the reality is, you know, I was one of the first users on the Reddit. Like, back when I was on the Reddit every day, like, posts had 1354 upvotes. I'm not even sure if that's one of the first users, but it was a long, long time ago. So my humor, everything I say, my entire personality, a lot of it is because of the Reddit. So, yeah, the dump truck. So a lot of it's because of the Reddit. So I just happen to think and talk and make jokes on a very similar wavelength to the Reddit. And if that sounds dumb and stupid, maybe it is, but that's what I've always thought. So I don't try to pander. I'm one, I feel so stupid for saying this, but I'm one of the boys. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, and when I thought about the military truck, let me ask you guys a question. Would you believe me if I said that I was against the military truck at every step and every turn? I tried to sabotage it. I promise you, I tried to sabotage it. Yeah, I am jealous I'm not a CEO. By the way, I love when people's names are tryhard on YouTube because, wait, how'd that work? I love when people's names are tryhard on YouTube because it changes their name to tryhard and it's just a tryhard picture. I don't know why it's not working, but their face is just a tryhard. Hold on. See? You can see their face is a tryhard. It's like they're talking to me. Okay. Because I thought that if I said that, you guys would be like, oh, he's just saying that now because the military truck was such a bad idea. You know, hindsight is 2020. Guys. Oh, gosh. Guys, please believe me. Please believe me. Please. I beg you. I beg you. Please believe me.
Have you heard the new mix? If not, listen, react to this, please.
Hey, 1 second. I'm going to react to this and I'll continue talking about the military truck.
Nope.
I feel like we already heard this.
Nope.
Straight from the heart.
Yep. Nope. Yep.
This one is for the culture.
Frank Lucas. Yep.
To your fans like Larry.
Nope.
Oh, I've never heard
Are
this.
you 1K Andy?
Yep.
Still a CEO?
Nope.
Pretend to be broke?
Yep.
Remember Horseshoe Bay?
Nope.
Are you secretly gay?
Yep.
Take Snoopy out 3 times a day? Was all the content fake?
Yep.
I've had giveaways.
Nope.
CX Castaway.
Yep.
I've peeped 1.
Nope.
I've peeped 2.
Yep.
Do we go on Discord?
Nope.
Did you book an escort?
Yep.
Big famous.
Nope.
Shameless. Racist.
Yep. Bitch.
King of IRL.
Nope.
Only taking L's.
Yep.
Moving back to Twitch.
Nope.
You a fucking bitch. Gucci bag Andy.
Nope.
Would you rather fuck Gary?
Yep.
Are you really broke?
Nope.
Still doing coke?
Yep.
Everybody got choices.
You chose to abandon your community.
Everybody got choices.
And then you became too candy.
Everybody got choices.
You rejected any advice from Sophie.
Everybody got choices.
Are you now happy?
Good news. Nope. Bitch. Yep. CEO. Nope. Bitch. Yep. Nope. Bitch. Yep.
That was unbelievable. By the way, real quick, if you're donating, I have it on moderation accept, so I have to accept it. I'm just waiting for the right time to let each one through. I'm letting them all play, though. That was incredible. That was fantastic. Like let me ask you, like, I don't find that to be toxic. Like, it's funny. Like, you know how much work went into that? Like, it's a ridiculous amount. Like, this community is so creative, like, with the stuff they do. Was this made by the original guy who did the first one, or is it just, like, probably not, right? That was incredible. That was amazing. Like, very good. If I can critique the song, if I can be Adam22 Andy right now, the memes were fire. The beat was, of course, stolen, but great. And I don't know, everything worked together. I'm not much of an Adam22, but I liked it. Let me ask you guys a question. Does anyone know how you get how do you record a TTS saying those voices for videos like this? I've seen it in songs like this, but I've also seen it in like videos. Like, is there a program, or do people just use Streamlabs, create fake donations, and record the video or record the audio? Like, how does someone create the little boy Justin voice saying all this stuff? Is there like a program that they're able to do that? Because I've always thought I've had some ideas in the past, and I might act on them in the future. Does anyone know? Let's see. We got a 10 seconds delay. Yeah, I don't think it's toxic. That's funny. Come on. If you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at? Only lose me legs. I'll look at that. It can't be Google Translate because it's using the Justin voice, which I don't think you can import into Google Translate. TTS emulator? Let me just Google that real quick, see if it's a real thing. Like, I know it is an emulator, but is that an actual program? I'm so bad at typing. Oh, it is TextReader.pro TTS emulator. Oh, this is great. Hold on. I thought it was going to be way more difficult. Wait, they don't have Justin. Oh, yeah, they do. If this works, it's going to open up a whole new avenue of fake donations. I gotta wait 15 seconds to process, it says. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I'm on the website, and then it just says wait 8. Hold on. It just says wait 8 seconds. All right. So I wait 8 seconds, and I hit play, and it says wait 20 seconds. It says Streamlabs is rate limiting you. Please, maybe it's because I have Streamlabs open and I'm using it right now. I don't know. I'll figure this out later. I'll save it. Let's bookmark this. My mind is going a mile a minute right now. I think I've started a bunch of thoughts and I haven't finished them. What was the last thing I was talking about? The song. Okay, good. I like the song. It's a great song. I love it.
Why did you ghost Cassandra in Europe? If she had gotten a chance, she may still be streaming right now. Thanks a lot, Jacob.
So I never meant to, well, it's kind of a long story. So me and Cassandra had a little bit of a fight right before we left. And it was the kind of fight where she hung up on me, which, you're allowed to hang up on anyone you want. It's fine. But I wouldn't say I get triggered too often. But when someone hangs up on me, I get really triggered. So I didn't purposely ghost her because of that. But it made because like whenever you're trying to get someone into a party, there has to be a certain amount of effort on your part, right? It's not like you can just sneak someone into a party easily. So if Cassandra wants to come to the party that I'm at, and it's going to be a little bit of trouble for me to get her in, and I still have negative feelings towards her because of like the little tiff we had right before we left, that it just all came together in me not helping her. I do feel bad though. Like, I shouldn't have done that, and I am very sorry to her. I know that she spent a lot of money to get there and stuff. I mean, I hope she had fun with tracksuit, but yeah, I do feel bad. I shouldn't have done that. I should have been honest from her. I should have been honest with her from the beginning. But yeah, we're all good now. She texts me like once a week, and we talk, and everything's good. What if you are happy? If you like Cassandra as a streamer, I'm sorry. I don't think it's because of me she's not streaming. I just think in general. Her PayPal is also kind of messed up right now, but I think she's moving. She told me she was moving a few days ago. This person's asking, how often did I fake TTS donations? I have never once faked TTS donations for ICE, and I'm almost positive no one else had access to his donation platform until recently, actually. So now a bunch of people have access, but for the past 2 years, I was the only one who ever had access to his donation platform. Why is this not working? I was the only one who ever had access. So, and I certainly didn't fake donations. So I'm not sure how he could have done that, like how it's possible. In fact, until the prison stream, I didn't even know it was possible. I thought everyone was just like memeing. You know how like there was always a bunch of like misinformation on Reddit, yada yada. Well, I always thought people saying that you could fake donations on Streamlabs was misinformation. I always thought it was false. I didn't know it was true. But then during the prison stream, I had so much time to mess around with Streamlabs, I found out you can actually just fake any donation you want. But I also found out that it's easy to find out if a donation is real or fake because you can look at your donation history, and every fake donation has a certain symbol next to it that all the real donations don't have. So if you ever think someone faked a donation, just ask them to show you it on Streamlabs, and you can tell right away.
What do you know about ICE's drug use? Was he abusing his diazepam and modafinil scripts? What about the constant sniffling and nosebleeds that mysteriously stopped since moving to Austin? Did it contribute to his terrible work ethic and lack of motivation?
I also knew I was going to be asked this, so I thought about my answer before, but even now, I didn't even know. I didn't think of a good answer. No, I did not know about ICE's drug use. If you're talking about like hard drugs like crack cocaine and stuff, I never once saw him. Like, there's a lot to unpack here. So, was he abusing his temazepam and modafinil scripts? What do you mean by abusing? Like, if he got a prescription from a doctor, not a fake doctor, but like one of those doctors that comes to your house and writes you anything, and, you know, he filled it at a legal pharmacy, and then he refilled it and refilled it and refilled it at a legal pharmacy. So I'm not really sure what counts as abusing. He certainly did take it a lot, but I don't want to say if that's abusing or not. Like I don't know. I don't even know what temazepam and modafinil are. I know that Chad took one of them, but I mean, if you consider buying $1,000 worth of modafinil and temazepam and taking it and then finishing it and then getting more and then taking it and finishing it and getting more, abusing, then yes. But if you don't consider that abusing, then no. What about the constant sniffing and nosebleeds? So one thing you will probably find out about me in this little interview, or whatever it's called, whatever we're doing here, is that, wait, just out of curiosity, how does that mean he was abusing? Because I'm just curious. Like, if he's getting a prescription from a real doctor, and he's getting it fulfilled legally, and he's paying the full price, which was like $1,000, like, is that abusing? Like, are you only supposed to take one a month or something? Like, I have no idea what this stuff even did. How is it Dr. Diaz? That's a good one. It wasn't really $1,000. It was more like $830, but I'm just rounding up. It was $1,000 worth of modafinil, but you know, that's only one thing. You know, I wish I had known about GoodRx, the website, before I started filling his prescriptions for him, because I probably could have saved him a lot of money. Because his insurance wouldn't work, so I always just paid the full amount because he told me to. And I know there's a website called, hold on, what's this called? GoodRx. So if you guys don't know about this website, I've never actually used it, but apparently you can go on this website and you can type in any drug you want, and you can Dr. Diaz, that's so funny, dude. You can type in any house you want, any house. You can type in any drug you want, and you can get a big discount on it. So let's see real quick. Temazepam. So this is what he could have been paying. I think this is how it works. I think. So, Tamazapan. So, wait, what is this? So I don't know if I'm actually doing this right, but apparently when you type in the name of a drug, it shows you what you're paying at each store. So ICE could, basically what I'm looking at is ICE could have been paying $7.76 per bottle, but instead he was paying $1,000. But I feel like I must be doing something wrong, because why does it say $19 here? Does that mean at Ralph it's somehow, is this like with insurance? Because I've never actually used this. Like, how does this work? I don't know. It's a really great site though. I was on, I am still on some, it's not like an antidepressant, it's like it's something for OCD, and I was considering using this, but it turns out I have really good insurance, so I didn't need to. But per pill, you think? Oh yeah, that actually might be. Why would it be per pill though? Actually, no, maybe that makes sense, because I've seen a lot of things here that's like 0.30, so maybe that is per pill. But so if a pill comes with 30 because it's a month's supply, that's still a huge discount, isn't it? Hey Siri, what's 7 times 30? It's 210. I don't need to ask. 210, right? So you could have saved like 80% by using this website, but I didn't know about it. See, that's why I've always considered myself a jack of all trades and not a like mastered anything. Because a great assistant who's perfect at being an assistant probably knew about this site, but because I am a little bit good at everything, it's like I didn't know about this and I couldn't save them the money. If that makes any sense to you. Not to say I'm good at everything. I just mean that, you know, my skills are like set among. I'm not going to click on it. What's it going to do? It's going to make me sign up probably. Oh wait, that is for 30 capsules. What the heck? Wait, so he could have been paying $6? He paid thousands. That can't be true. Don't let my boss see this. Wait, are you telling me that guy who wanted to give me those beans for our cow was lying? I sold all of Paul's cows. I got all the modafinil, and all I had to do was give Paul's cows. Wait, was Blade talking in the chat? Hold on. I'm really bad at reading chat. I'm sorry. It's my first time. I don't see anything. American healthcare, am I right? Oh, I can't wait to tell you guys about my trip to Europe. It was so great. I'll get into that later because I know you guys are here for ICE. But dude, my trip to Europe was fantastic. Fake pharma scan. No, but this is the generic form. It's not the wrong drug because it said generic form temazepam. Let's try modafinil real quick. Hold on. Hey guys, I hope I just saved you guys a lot of money if you didn't know about this site, because I know it works for a lot of drugs. I just can't be 100% certain what I'm doing right now is accurate. Okay, modafinil. So he was paying a lot of money for this. Okay, so this is a little bit more expensive, but barely. This is like $34. I'll listen to the Only Lose Me. I'm sorry, I'm kind of backed up on donations. Give me 1 second. Yeah. Again, you guys can make your own judgment about how this website works. I don't know 100%, but I will listen to Only Use Me Legs real quick, because I have definitely never heard that one. No results. Oh, I probably spelled it wrong. What? Only... Am I spelling lose wrong? Or loose? Only... Lose... Me legs. What am I doing wrong? I guess you'll have to donate it. If someone can tell me what I'm doing wrong, I'll listen to it, but I don't know.
Congratulations on 2,000 viewers. Call Ice is crying. Honestly, Ice keeps donating and it's only a matter of time until he calls you to tell you to not talk about him because his feelings are hurt. Stop donating, Ice.
Lose. I told you guys I'm an idiot. I don't know how to spell either. Thank you, Real Nick R. Oh, by the way, thank you, Pleb, for the $3. Thank you, Real Nick R, for the $2. And thank you for the congratulations. I don't think Ice is actually downloading. I don't think he's actually donating because I see the real names of the donators on my phone, and his name is not popping up. So I think they're fakes. And well, I hope his feelings aren't hurt because I'm only saying what he's already said. I made sure of that. You know, at least about him. Hey, stop. Stop. Little Brucey's? Okay, I'll type in Little Brucey's if I can manage to spell that. Little I can't spell Brucey's. Okay, there we go. Only lose me leg.
Yeah, I'ma drink that Jaeger till I'm fucking dead. I'm only lose me leg. I'ma drink that Jaeger till I'm fucking dead. I'm only lose me leg. I got holes in my leg. Jaeger in
oh, I have heard this on Blade Stream. This is great.
Scalp, figure it out. Yeah, I'll rope your wife, or I'll toss your dog. Pissing on the couch, my head's in a fog. Figure it out, little bruises. 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 I was just walking by her, that girl is a liar. Just said hi, so die in a fire. Let me crack your back, this ain't no back attack. I'll be dead in 2 years, so cut me some slack. Figure it out, little bruises. Figure it out, little bruises. Figure it out, little bruises. Figure it out, little bruises.
It's even better with this picture. Where's the Blade picture of him as Robot Andy 2.0? Only use me, Blade robot. Dude, my computer's lagging so bad. It's so old. Oh, I'll never find it. You guys know what picture I'm talking about. Oh, okay. It's not that. Oh, it's like this, but it's not. Related images. Yeah, it's a funny picture. Okay. Wait, watch to the end? I'll watch to the end. I don't see anything.
Hey Jacob, a few questions. How far along was the Scuff streaming site, or was it all bullshit? 15 devs BTW. Was there really investors? Was Wesley hired to replace you? Whose idea was it the character limit the Reddit? That was the start of the downfall.
Thank you, Ellie Boy, for the $4. There's a few questions there, so let me go through each one of them. The Scuff streaming site, if I can say if you guys don't mind me saying one positive thing. Oh, wait, real quick. That song was fantastic. Whoever did that is very creative, and I loved it. It just blows me away how creative you guys are sometimes. So, Alley Boy, if you can let me say one positive thing about the streaming mansion, I will say that the streaming website scuff.com was actually very, very close to launching. And when I do not talk in hyperboles like a few other people we might know, we were within 2 months of launching, which is pretty good. We would have definitely launched by the summer, so 3 months ago. It was pretty much completely done by my standards, but obviously the devs, had a bunch of under the hood work to do. It pretty much looked exactly like Stream Me, but without all the stickers and like GIFs and all that stuff that Paul didn't like. And I mean, I agreed with him. I didn't think any of that stuff was good either. And it had a different color scheme. So yeah, it was pretty much close to being done. I mean, we never even got to the point where we were able to do test streams on it, which is why I say 2 months and not right away, but we were like just about to. Like we were just getting started to do test streams on it. So it's unfortunate the mansion didn't work out, but it's really unfortunate that the website didn't work out because I didn't even own any of the company. Like I didn't own any of the website, but I was just looking forward to just, I don't know, watching a platform where you can do whatever you want. Who knows if it would have taken off? I mean, to be honest, I didn't really care. I was in it for the fun of the game, and I loved every second of it. I really, I'll get into this later when I talk about the mansion, but in retrospect, I really think it would have been a better choice to not get a house at all and just build a company in the background while Paul continued to do his normal, normal stuff, like normal stream. And then I would, work on the website, and then one day, randomly, maybe at a bus stop, who knows, Paul would just say, hey, I've got this new website, anyone can stream on it, and you can do whatever you want, there are no rules. There you go. I mean, we had a lot of people who failed PR class in college or didn't take it at all working on this project. So yeah, not the best rollout at all. I said I had equity. Did he? I didn't have equity. I was told that eventually, if the company was successful, I would get 1%, but I didn't. I hope I didn't just expose myself there. Yeah, $2K a month and 1%. Yeah, so I was told eventually, if the company was successful, I would get 1%. But obviously, that never happened. So my name, my social, my name, my address was on nothing. Like my name was not on any documents or anything like that. Nobody knew who I was. The police, when they raided the house, didn't know who I was. I was completely hidden. So one day I hope to get. To be fair, when we were talking in meetings, so when we, 1%. Hey, I was told it would be a multi-billion-dollar company. Do you have any idea how much 1% is of multi-billions of dollars? Hey Siri, what's 1% of $10 billion?
I found an answer.
It's 100 million. I would have gotten $100 million if this succeeded. So you guys can laugh at me now and make your little jokes, but I would have been rolling in it if it wasn't for you meddling kids. But yeah, I mean, that was at 1%. Whenever we were in meetings and stuff that would involve the people who had equity, I was always there. So it's not really a lie for Paul. I mean, it is a lie, but it wasn't really false for Paul to say that I owned equity because I was involved in so much and I would have been given equity eventually. The paperwork just was never started or completed. So multi-million. 1%, try hard 1%. Yoink. Yeah, that's why I hate IP2. They cost me $100 million. It's all your fault. It's you and those terrorists over there. How dare you? You'll pay for this. Did I answer all those questions? Were there really... Okay, so I answered the first question. There was a streaming site. There were devs. There wasn't 15 devs. There was one dev. And he did a very good job. So I talked to him every day. You know what's funny is I talked to the dev who was building the site every single day. And the day that the investors pulled out and there was no more deal, never talked to him again. So I just feel it's kind of funny. I talked to this guy every day and that was his job. And then when the investors pulled out, I just never saw him go online on Discord again. He was gone. Who knows what happened to him? So yeah, there were devs, but I mean, let's be honest, guys. I just spit everywhere. Did anyone ever think that there were really 15 devs? Surely that was just a number he pulled out of his ass. There were devs, but as far as I know, there was only one dev. He did a very good job. And no, it wasn't Phineas. This was a real, this guy would screen share his this guy would screen share his workstation with me. And he would show me what he's working on. And it looked like a legitimate setup. He had tons of screens and he had, he had stuff on his screen that made me think that he knew what he was doing. You know what I mean? I don't know anything about web development, but this guy knew what he was doing. Believe me. Believe me. Believe me, Andy here, asking you to believe me. The poor dev was whacked. He was killed. Do you guys remember the tweet I made about the sneak peek at production team? And it was just a picture of me. I think the reason Paul, like, is this guy's asking me why Paul lies so much? I think the reason is because it's just in his head when he's on stream, it's hard to keep everything in track. So by the time he starts saying the word 15 developers and the time that he stops saying it, he's already forgotten the words coming out of his mouth and he's already moved on to the next word. It's like a constant state of think before. It's like the opposite of think before you speak. 15 screens. You know what's funny? The dev sounded like Brent. And then once I went to Brent's room while I was on the phone with the dev, and I could hear Brent talking just like the dev. And now that I think about it, the dev's profile picture on Discord was a cat. And his Discord profile name was Kman123. Gullible Andy. Did I answer all your questions? That's why there's obviously a ton of funny stories in the streaming saga. Was Wesley hired to replace you? No, Wesley was an intern who DM'd Brent, and then Brent hired anyone who DM'd him, so he came. Wesley was honestly very nice, so I have no problem. I originally had a problem with SSJ hiring him or bringing him on board because I thought it was just like stressful, like more hands on deck wasn't really needed at that point, and it was just hard to keep track of everyone because we had so many new people moving in. But I ended up really liking Wesley. He was a really nice guy, and he actually did help a lot. But no, he wasn't hired to replace me. He was hired as kind of like a guy who could do anything we asked him, and since I was kind of moving to more of a behind-the-scenes production guy, he may have eventually started to help Paul with more of his stream stuff. So yes, he may have eventually replaced me as kind of like Paul's assistant, but he was not hired for that. He was hired as just a general, we don't have to pay him kind of guy, which I didn't know. I didn't know he was hired as an intern or hired at all. He just showed up one day. And I'm glad he did. I ended up becoming friends with him. I haven't talked to him since, but seems like a very nice guy. He went to go with Harvey, I know. I don't really know what happened to him. Were there really any investors? Yes, there were. There were real investors. Yeah, I mean, the answer to that is yes, there were real investors. I will talk more about that later, but yeah, the investors were real. They were legitimate. There was no bank loan or anything. There was real money. I would 100% not blame you at all if you did not believe me. I would not believe me if I wasn't me, because the entire Streaming House saga is filled with so many inconsistencies and, quote, this doesn't make sense, quote, that I would expect all of you not to believe me. How could there be investors? How could the investors invest $2 million and then leave like $1 million of those dollars with Brent, like, and not take any equity? Like, how does that make any sense? It doesn't, but that's what happened. Like, I'm telling you the truth. Wait, what did Elixir say? Elixir with a cookie. Elixir's really nice. Hey, Elixir, do you still have that video of me singing that I told you to delete? Oh, Elixir once filmed me singing without my permission, and I hounded him for the rest of the day to delete it. And then he told me he would delete it, and then he didn't delete it. And then he gave me these puppy dog eyes, and I was like, fine, you don't have to delete it. And I told him if he ever releases it, I'm coming after him. No. Brent didn't get $1 million. What I meant by that was $1 million had already been spent, meaning that like we'd already spent a year like on the house, which is like $500,000, and we'd already spent so much money on like the military truck and stuff, that it all added up to almost $1 million. That's what I meant by Brent kept $1 million, because he got to keep the house and the military truck. Elixir, don't release that. I'm coming after you. Even though I have an amazing singing voice, I don't like people filming me without my permission. Plus, it looks really creepy. I didn't know Elixir was sitting next to me. It looks like I'm singing to him, and it sounds like a love song. Like, I was thinking about like sometimes I was thinking about something. I don't know. I think it was like the streamer house or something. Whose idea was it to character limit the Reddit? I have no idea. I stopped being a mod on the Reddit a long time before that, and I had nothing to do with the Reddit. And I can only guess, based on what I know, that it was a joint decision between the mods on Discord, who were, of course, also mods on Reddit, and Paul. Like, I don't think it was Brent or Kimberly or anyone else. Like, I honestly just think it was Paul's idea, along with advice from his mods. That was the start of the downfall? Definitely. Okay, that was a lot. That was a lot of questions for $4, Halliboy. Just saying. But thank you very much.
Please take my anal virginity.
I can. No, I don't. I mean, I don't know. I'm not used to those kind of questions. Definitely never been asked that before. But sure. Meet me at TwitchCon. I'll be in San Diego this September. This stream is all in preparation for my cloud, of course. I want to make sure I get as many, e-girls after me as possible.
I don't care how many haters there are, I think we are all sad and feel bad for Ice. He went from a 10k into a 1k Andy. The community is there, you have 2k virers and X assistant. Do you ever see Ice being a 10k Andy again, be honest?
Real quick, East, the guy who asked me about his anal virginity, thank you for the $2. That was really nice of you. I don't care how many viewers. Mexican, thank you for the $3. And yeah, I definitely feel. I mean, I feel bad for Ice in the sense that I would, want him. I would want any of my friends to be more successful. Do I think he'll ever be a 10k Andy again? Yes, if he gets unbanned from Twitch, but maybe only for one stream. On YouTube or Mixer, it's very hard to say. I just don't think he's putting in the work right now. I don't think. Like, he's not putting in the work. Like, how could I say someone is going to be having 10k viewers makes you an enormous success. It makes you an unbelievable success. I just can't see how someone with Paul's current work ethic could ever be a 10k Andy again. I just don't get it. Maybe if someone hosts him or he comes back on Twitch for one stream, but like, I just don't see the path. You know what I mean? Like, I've always tried to think, I'm very methodical. I've always tried to think about all the ways you can get from point A to point B. It's like Doctor Strange and the Avengers. I look through all the realities. But what reality is it? Like, I can't see it. Like, let me just give you a quick example. So, Paul streamed on Mixer for a week, right? He streamed on Mixer for a week because Ninja went to Mixer, of course, and there was a lot of attention on the site. A lot of people said this was a dumb idea. A lot of people said this was a great idea. Regardless of what type of idea it is, if you are going to go to another website, you're going to leave your entire fan base behind, and you're going to go to another website, you need to go hard. And forgive my language, but you need to go fucking hard. Like, you need to go really hard. Like, holy smokes. You need to work harder than you've ever worked before for that week. Because you want to make sure your YouTube guys are happy. You want to make sure you're going crazy on Mixer. You want to put in extra work during that week to ensure that you have the best path to success possible. That is what anyone would do, or anyone would hopefully do. Yesterday, I went on Paul's, because I went on Paul's little, can't even talk, sorry, my mouth is so dry. Yesterday, I went on Paul's Mixer channel, and I counted up all the hours that he did. And swear word, yeah. I counted up all the hours that he did and I added them together because I wanted to see how many hours he streamed per day for his week-long Mixer or week-long streams on Mixer. And he streamed 3.3 hours a day. Now, I know that IRL is hard. I know it is. It's harder than being a desktop streamer, okay? Like 3.3 hours a day? Come on. Like, that's like, I just don't get it. Like, what's the thought process behind that? It's not like I dislike Paul at all. I don't. I think he's great. I want to see him. I'm going to Austin soon. I definitely want to see him. But when you are streaming on a new platform and you stream 3.3 hours a day, like, what do you hope you're getting? Are you hoping for those 3 hours some random people see you and you send, like, I don't even want to say it because it doesn't make any sense. I feel like I'm stupid saying it. He's waiting to get partnered before he puts work in. I know that, but when you're down on your luck, you have to work harder with no benefit. When you are building your own company, when you are your own boss, you have to put more work in than you'll ever get back in monetary value. If you're only putting work in to get paid, you won't get paid at all because the money will never come. The only way you'll get paid if you don't work is if you're lucky. You can get lucky, right? You can hit a gold mine, whatever it may be. You can hit a platform or a genre or a cliche that just you happen to be perfect for, and you can become enormously successful. But for those of us, or I don't know about me, but like for those people who can't do that, they have to work hard. And if you don't work hard, you don't get anything. You don't deserve anything. And there have been times when you guys have said Paul has not worked hard, and I know he has. And there have been times when you guys have said he's lazy and he hasn't worked hard, and I know you guys are right, he hasn't. And this is one of those times when you stream 3.3 hours a day on a new platform, you're not working hard. I'm sorry, you're not. Especially when a lot of those are like, not to mention some of those hours are watching a movie and talking to chat. They're not even IRL. Like IRL, that would be bad. So, yeah, I mean, that's my opinion on the fact. I hope if Paul's watching this right now, I hope he doesn't take offense to that. I mean, I think he agrees that he would need to work a lot harder. But, you know, it's like the Live Me deal. Like, for $480,000, I would have done anything. Well, no, that's not true. Don't quote me on that. I would have worked as hard as humanly possible. I would have never, ever, 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 ever put that deal in jeopardy. I would have put every cent I had, I would have put every ounce of my motivation into ensuring that I made as much money from that deal as possible. I wouldn't have ditched YouTube. I would have woken up at 6 a.m. every day, and I would have gone live on Live Me for 8 hours, and I would have immediately gone live on YouTube for 8 more hours. So, yeah, I mean, and that's just not what he was willing to do. So it's not like he suddenly changed. He's always kind of been a little lazy. But yeah, I don't even remember why I started talking about this. What was the question again? Do you ever see him being 10K Andy again? Oh, yeah. So to answer that question, he can be 10K Andy. I truly believe he can, but he has to put in the work. He's not putting in the work, therefore he cannot be 10K Andy. That's my opinion.
Raid me Plox, smile.
Raid me Fox, thank you, Lizzie the Lizard Live for the $2. I'm not going to raid you now, but if I remember you at the end of the stream, perhaps. I feel like I was going to say something in conjunction. Oh yeah, I'll tell you guys about the Live Me contract later, because it's actually a pretty interesting story, and a lot of what Paul said about it was true, like regarding how it ended and stuff, but I'll talk about that in a bit.
I'm sure someone's donated this already, but please listen to Only Lose My Legs.
I think we already listened to this. Let me see. You guys will listen to this again?
Yeah, I'm a drink that Jaeger till
I'll just go forward to the favorite part.
Go back years, so cut me some slack. Figure it out, little bruises. Figure it out, little bruises. Figure it out.
Yeah, that was Ice donating for a host.
Figure it out, little bruises.
Oh wait, that wasn't. I skipped it halfway through. I forgot there's no audio at the end. All right. Thank you for the $2, Lizzie. Yes, we did listen to that already. Very good song. Or no, wait, Only Use Me Legs. Thank you for that. $5. We already listened to that song. Another one.
At the vents, Ice did drug test. When he went into the bathroom, he came out with a half container full of urine that looked fairly clear. We all know Ice barely drinks water, so how was his urine so clear and not darker? Whose urine was it?
At the Vins, I mean, to be honest with you, even if you told me which apartment at the Vins that was, like, I wouldn't, I don't remember any of the times Paul did a drug test except Whitley, which was back on Hollywood Boulevard. Excuse me, because I went and bought it for him. So I don't actually remember him taking a drug test at Vins. I mean, maybe he filled it up with water. Like, I have no idea. There certainly wasn't like, have you guys seen Euphoria, the show on HBO? He certainly didn't have like a bottle of human pee stuck to his leg and go in there. I don't think he's good enough at planning for that. But I don't know how to answer that question. I have no idea what was in that bottle. I would guess his pee, honestly. I mean, if all that fails, the simplest answer is usually the correct one. So maybe it just happened. Maybe he happened to be well hydrated that day. Who knows?
Yoda miss you. Would be nice if you streamed more. CX.
Drug test before before this one. Thank you for the $2 about the drug test at Vins. Ayu, thank you for the $3. Dude, miss you. Would be nice if you streamed more. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I've been very busy with work. Just haven't been able. I went to Europe for work actually, and then came back and did more work here. And I was not really watching the community and watching the streams as much, so I didn't really have much to say on Twitter. I'm not as creative without other people helping me with my content. Yeah, Euphoria is a great show. It's fantastic. I actually just finished it, and it got a little too soap opera-y, if that's a word, like too much like a soap opera in the end. But the beginning was great. Yeah, I don't mind. I mean, this channel is not really mine. I'm not stealing it from ICE or anything. But I can stream a little bit more on here in the future. It's a Minecraft channel, don't forget. We're going to play Minecraft soon, so don't forget to subscribe. I've never said that before. I sound like such a tool. Oh, and when I do the robot streams, I want to create a channel for that, so I'll tell you guys about that in the future, but we're not ready yet.
Hello again, you sexy bearded man. Go on a gay date with me.
Oh, that's one against the beard and one for it, so thank you. It's a tie now. Go on a date? Sorry, I can't use people for content. I'm not that kind of streamer, but come visit me. Meet up with me at TwitchCon. I wonder if anyone will even recognize me at TwitchCon. Probably not. I'm old news. The ICE fans are dwindling. Scuff Jim Carrey, I don't know if that's a real him. He donated $1 and said, watch this. Also, why is Pokimane your favorite streamer? What is this? Pokimane is not my favorite streamer. I don't know if that's a joke. I'd never watched her before in my life. I don't want to watch this whole thing,
the
but this
reason
is,
why I want to do the show is just to kind of show
is.
the world that, you know, the stereotypical gamer can actually go out, be active, and dance, and do something besides just being a basement dweller. Also, the money wouldn't hurt either. I feel 200% better than when I first walked in. I'm gonna win this thing.
All the preparation from this past week, it's all kind of heading up to this moment.
Let's just watch the dance.
Very, very different. Well done.
Thinking that drive slow, only in the fast lane. Put me in that bill, like an Astro. Sick and I'm tired, stress that I'm facing. Roll like a tire, only to be racing. Back and forth, you fall short like a crashing course. I conquered a number of your ambassadors. I bring. This is crazy. We on fire. We make it hot. We rise. We about to burn this mother down. Sick and tired, sick and tired. Sick and tired, sick and tired. Sick and tired, sick and tired. I got it.
He's got the money.
Well done. Excellent job. Bring it in the hugs. Bring in the hugs. Hey, so let's just see what the judges thought. Lorianne?
I'm just teasing. That's how real you were. I was scared up here. So.
Hey, let's watch the funniest part.
It didn't matter. I saw it was movements of. It was.
Squirrel. All right, well, the money's not yours anymore, but
Out of my hands. I'm glad that you guys liked it, so thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Nice. And Bryn, how was your time?
All right, here's the funniest
Well,
part.
one thing that you guys don't know is that he just quit smoking on Friday. He just quit drinking, and he's trying to use this also to lose weight. So it's like so much more than him just being here to dance. Like, he
That
used
poor
it
woman,
as a
Blade, what have you done to
catapult
her?
change his life.
She was
Thank
so
you for
happy.
being so fearless and amazing.
Fearless.
It's that time, so good luck to you.
Fearless.
I hope you get the votes to come back, and here's your bag.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, guys.
I mean, he's funny. We got to give him that. Thank you for the $1, as she say. Hey, my mom's FaceTiming me right now. She doesn't know anything about this channel, so I doubt she knows I'm streaming. I don't want to tell her though, because I don't want her to ever know. Hold on, let me say sorry, can't talk right now.
Do you think the memes of you and Kim being a better couple ever make Ice resent you?
100%, but I can't get into it. Oh, it's $1. Okay, I was waiting for the next one to play. Friller, I don't know. I should probably put it down to $1 till it plays, but I don't know. I think I know how to do that. Let me try to see if I can do that. Hold on. The $1 one said, "Play my donation already, homie. I gave you everything I made yesterday." I've pretty much played every donation. This is what I never. People who donate again because I miss it or because the streamer missed a donation should always include the original donation in there. Like, now I have to go through every donation to look for yours. Like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I thought I played every one of them. I was so good. May, I don't see another one with your name on it. I'm looking through all of them. I'm not picking it up now. I don't want another Inza situation. Coincidentally, her name is Inza. Okay, sorry, Dwester. I can't play it, I don't think, because it's got some sort of limit on $1, but I'm sorry you only made $1 yesterday. I'll refund you.
What happened to Brent's 50-minute hit base on Brandon? And was there a concerted effort to deplatform Brandon? How many billionaires does Brent Caskell actually know?
Oh, and Rip IPCJ, thank you for the $2. And Dwester, thank you for the $1. Friller, thank you for the $5. And I have absolutely no idea what happened to that hit piece. What happened to... Here's a better question for you. What happened to that hit piece and every other hit piece he ever said he was making? Which, if you guys don't know about him, was like a dozen. 12. Most people go through their entire lives without making one hit piece. This man was working on 12 simultaneously. In fact, he even said he paid for the Brandon hit piece. Like, he paid money. So I don't know, like, how does that work? Like, he paid someone to make it and then he just never mentioned it again? I never saw it. I talked to him about it once. I said, what's going on with this hit piece? And he's like, oh, I found this editor. I'm making a hit piece. And I'm like, okay. I don't remember what I said, to be honest, but I probably just blew it off because, like, I'm dealing with enough stuff besides my boss's manager writing hit pieces on Hollywood Boulevard live streamers. Yeah, I don't know what happened to it. You should ask him. I wish he would have done AMA. I remember I was on the IP2 back in the days when he was hyping that up. That would have been great. I would have loved that. Do you guys remember the IP2 AMA that the Dow brothers did, but it was like 4 pages long? It was like 20 paragraphs long, just non-stop. Very well written, I must be honest. They said something about me that was nice. They said like my perfect smile or something. they're like shitting on everybody else, and then randomly in the middle of their AMA they're like, and here comes Jacob down the stairs with his perfect smile. But didn't say anything else. I know. It's funny that both in the Dow Brothers AMA and the Harvey's AMA, they both talked really nice about me. Harvey said that my room was spotless, and he appreciated that. And I am here to 100% confirm he is right. My room was always spotless. Think of the most disgusting, horrible, awful room you can think of. Then get Paul's room out of your mind, and then think of my room, which is the exact opposite. Yeah, my everything. I don't know if you guys can see my everything, but my bed is made. Like, everything's always done. This isn't just for today. Like, everything in my house is always perfect. Like, I have major OCD about everything being clean, everything wiped down. Every Sunday I do a whole routine. Like, I'm messed up, dude. I'm messed up bad. Was there ever a conscious attempt to deplatform Brandon? So here's the thing. Like, you guys know that, I don't know if you guys know this, but like, Brent would always talk about getting Brandon banned. Like, he would always talk about this and that and about, you know, like, I'm gonna get his YouTube channel taken down, yada, yada, yada. But in Brent's defense, he said that about so many people. And out of the dozens and dozens and dozens of people that he said that about, Brandon just happened to be the one who was already banned from YouTube at the time. So I can't, like, you know, like, I don't think there was any conscious effort. I don't think he ever even talked to anyone at YouTube. Like, Paul definitely never talked to anyone at YouTube. He didn't have any, like, people he knew at YouTube. Like, he even said this himself. Like, I know the only person he knew at YouTube was this guy who ran YouTube Gaming, but I doubt he could have talked to him about getting someone kicked off the platform. I think SSJ just has that kind of personality, and he would say things like that, like the hit piece and stuff, so often that it's just coincidence that Brandon was getting kicked off YouTube. I think it was two separate things. Like, Steve Jobs had even less context at YouTube than Ice Poseidon, or like Ice. So I don't know. I mean, there definitely could have been. It does seem very weird that he kept getting banned when other people hadn't, but there was never any formal, like, talkings or documents or anything I would know. So sorry about that. How many billionaires does Brent Caskell actually know? 0 as far as who's the guy who owns the San Francisco Shock Overwatch team? Andy Miller. Is he a billionaire? Because he knows him. Any other billionaires? I don't know that he knows. I think he once said that he didn't really say that and it was taken out of context, but I don't know. Funny meme though.
Shave me, bro. Don't shave me, bro.
Thank you, Beard, for the $2. Oh, Filler, I already said thank you to you. Thank you, Beard, for the $2. I will consider it in the future. What I do is I have a product. I'll show you guys what I use for my beard shaving real quick, just in case you guys have beards too and you want to buy a new razor. It's called the Philips Norelco One Blade Pro. Let me see if I can get an image of it. Okay, so this is what I use to shave my cheeks, right above where the hair is, or like right above where the main beard stops growing and you just have these scraggly little hairs. This is really great. Anyone who shaves their beard like I have it now should definitely consider getting one of these. I'm not being sponsored by them. I just love cool technology, and I just think this works really cool. I mean, this works really good, and it's really cool. I would advise you though, please do not use this on your armpits. Please do not use this on your neck. Please do not use this on your genitals. It will cut you very, very bad. It needs a 100% smooth surface, or you will get cut. Your cheeks, they're fine. Everything else, I have cut every other part of my body after trying it. I thought that was the case, and I needed to try it, but sell out. Yeah. Hey guys, check out my Amazon wish list. A bunch of Norelco or Philips Norelcos. Yeah, but this is what I use. It's pretty good. I'm sorry if you ever talk to my family, you'll know that I always hype up products that I use. If I buy a blender and it works really good, I'm always like at the dinner table with my family going, "Guys, you got to check out this blender. It's so good." That's just part of my personality. I do a lot of research when it comes to buying products, and this was a really good buy. Ball sack cut. I cut my ball sack this morning, actually. It hurt.
Did Brent Caskell and Ice target Hampton Brandon to have him banned on most platforms?
Thank you, TTD, for the $2. As I said before, I do not believe so. I don't know how they could have done that. Like, it's not as easy as you think. Like, I've talked to Trusted Flagger like twice in the past 2 years, and I don't think he has as much power as maybe his legend on the Reddit, says, like, makes you guys think. But again, I don't know. I don't want to say yes or no because it ever comes out that Mom didn't hear that. If they if it ever comes out that they did work together to get him banned, I don't want to be on the wrong side of the argument. So I'll just say I don't know. I asked them several times. They said no. They had nothing to do with it. But yeah, that's the answer.
What are you doing for work now? You should stream once a week. Minecraft. Please and thank you. Nice spirit beat DW.
I actually thank you, Willie DW, for the $5. I actually ended my. For the past 3 months, I was working at I don't want to say because like it's a company you guys know. Like the name of the company is one you're familiar with, and if I say I don't want to cause any problems, but I'll tell you guys one day. Basically, like media production, like sitting behind a iMac. And like doing media production, like working with After Effects and Photoshop, and even though I don't know how to use those programs, I was like learning and figuring it out. And it was like mobile app development too. It was really weird. That's why I was only there for 3 months. I always told them that I was only going to be there for 3 months because I didn't want to stay in LA when my lease is up, and my lease just happens to be up at the end of this month. So yeah, I told them that basically. In August, I'm probably going to leave and find another job. So now I'm in the transitional period between that old job and now the new job that I'm moving forward to. So yeah, I mean, working in media, you know, it's a living. It's not Twitch. No, I actually wanted to work at Twitch, but that did not work out. I don't think they even knew who I was. Funny thing is that people always, like, whenever people who work at Twitch who knew about the streams would mention the people who were on ISIS streams, they would never mention me. Like Hassan didn't know who I was, Anil didn't know who I was when I went to Germany, but they knew who Tracksuit Andy was. So it's like, it's crazy how much not being on stream affects how much people know you. Not that I'm complaining. I mean, that's the reason I wasn't on stream, but I'm just saying it's funny. Like, you know, Tracksuit Andy's someone in their mind, but they didn't know I knew who I was.
So let's talk about bots. Did I or anyone in the CX network use bots to boost their view numbers and attract more sponsors? Also, you're a great streamer. Hope to see more streams in the future.
Thank you, Hi Dude, for the $2, and thank you for saying that about the stream. I'm a lot more nervous than I'm letting on. I've always been very, very nervous in front of the camera. I feel like you guys are going to be a little disappointed with this whole stream in a way because you were asking some questions that my answer is no, and I feel like you want it to be yes. I obviously don't know if anyone in the network was using bots because it wasn't like that kind of network. We weren't constantly, you know, talking to each other and sharing bots. It wasn't that kind of thing. If someone used bots, there's no way I'd know. ICE, I always wondered, like, maybe I'm just crazy. But when I saw ICE's viewer count, I never thought it was crazy. You know what I mean? When he did, I never thought it was unusual. Like when ICE did big events, he got big numbers. When ICE had a bad stream, he got bad numbers. You know, I never saw a stream that was like ridiculously bad and constantly disconnecting that had like 15,000 streams. 15,000 viewers. You know what I mean? Like it's been 2 years, so maybe there are some moments that I'm forgetting, but I don't know. Like I didn't really see what you guys were talking about. Like Paul obviously, let's just say hypothetically Paul was using bots, right? Let's just say hypothetically. It's obvious that he couldn't use the bots on his own, right? Like you can't, I don't know how bots work, but you can't use bots when you're doing IRL. You probably can't do bots on your own. You need someone in the behind the scenes to do it for you, which would be me. But I obviously never did it. So who was doing it for him if he was botting? Like if he wasn't botting, which I don't believe he was, because I don't think he's, for lack of a better word, smart enough to do that. Like I feel like it's a lot of work. And I wasn't doing it because obviously I know what I was doing. Who was doing it? Phineas? Like, why would Phineas do it? Like, I don't know. It never seemed like his view numbers were crazy to me. You know what I mean? Like, if he had 1,000 viewers now and he's had 1,000 viewers for the past few weeks and he suddenly got 10K, that's something that I would think, wow, he must be botting. But his views always seem pretty consistent with his content. I don't know. Phineas, hey, listen, if Phineas, you can ask Phineas. I'm sure he would tell you. Phineas, duh. Okay. I'm under NDA. Yeah, I'm sorry. I wish I could tell you all the funny special dirt about the bots and the fake donations, but I don't know. There's nothing. I never saw any fake donations or bots. I don't know. The only time I ever saw someone on the CX network stream with a lot of viewers, and I was like 99% sure it was being botted, and you guys can tell me if you remember this. Do you remember when Mexican Andy streamed that one time? I think it was on Hollywood Boulevard. He had his S10 and he was streaming, and he usually only got like 400 viewers, maybe 700 if he was doing something cool, and he had 8,000 viewers. This was like a little over a year ago. If you guys remember he had it for one day. That is the only day I thought someone was botting the stream. I was like, there's no way. Like 8,000 viewers out of nowhere suddenly are on Mexican Andy stream. And he had those bots for like a good 3-4 hours. Like it wasn't just a glitch or something. Yeah, Sam Pepper is a whole nother story. I don't even want to get into that. Like I don't know what was going on. But yeah, it was just weird, right? Like I don't think Mexican Andy was botting, but like 8,000 viewers, where did all they come from? Yeah, Sweet Aaron. Did Sweet Aaron ever bot? Like, not that I'm asking if she botted, but I mean, like, was Sweet Aaron ever botted? Because I saw she got a lot of big donations, but I never saw her with really high view numbers. But again, there's so much stuff over the past 2 years in my head. Like, I can't remember every stream or every time I looked at the website. Yeah. I don't want to get into Sam. Like, listen. I totally get why you think I spotted, because there were times when I watched Sam stream, and I was like, yeah, this is definitely a bot. But I don't want to be one of those guys who says something like that without any proof. So it's only my opinion. The only reason I thought there were bots on Sam stream is because Sam stream would DC, and he would constantly have a lot of viewers. Like his viewers wouldn't go down, but where Paul stream, his viewers would go down. Like if he effed, his viewers would drop dramatically. But again, I'm just telling you that so you know how I know how you feel. Like I don't know if Sam was doing anything, and to be honest, he probably wasn't. I will do a recap. Wait, the anticipation is what will make it great.
Are you gonna stream Minecraft every day now? Glad to see you again.
Yes, I will stream Minecraft every day, and that's what you read the title, didn't you? Ordinary Toaster, thank you for the $3. And yes, I will stream Minecraft. This is a Minecraft channel now. You don't have to worry. Sam used to server. Yeah, I've always been. If you guys have known me for the past 2 years, you'll know that I'm someone who never really got involved in anything that I didn't know 100%. Like, that's why I'm not into politics. I never like making accusations. I'm like Mr. Anti-Drama. I mean, I would hope so. I would hope I'm Mr. Anti-Drama. But, yeah, I can't really say anything for sure, especially in an AMA like this.
PLS don't PLS watch.
Ape Boy Lou donated $2. Thank you very much, Mr. Ape. And he asked me to watch this. Let's see what it is.
He made me look like a fucking cunt. He made me look like a fucking piece of shit. I've been nothing but nice to this guy, yeah? He's been a fucking cunt, and I'm sorry I didn't want to fucking do this shit.
I say it's just a SIG. Just as big as Elite as the other. TSA knows about them. Fuck TSA. TSA's a fucking pussy, oh blood. I swear down, I've been so fucking calm with that cunt, blood. I'll give him a chance, bro, until I slap him in his mouth.
No, please, no, please, no.
You wish, man. TSA is just as big as Elite as the others, yeah, true. TSA knows them.
I feel so bad, no.
TSA's a cunt. I've been so fucking polite about fucking TSA shit. TSA's been a snaky fucking
no.
Fucking snaky fuck.
You know, it's fine. Let me just say real quick before I forget, because you guys are calling him Marley, it just reminded me of something. Back when I first started watching Paul, not watching Paul. Back when I first started working for Paul, one of the things I was really scared about is because like the Reddit in the community, they weren't as mean as they are now, but they were still pretty mean. They would always make these names for people, and they would always give them these leech names like Mar Leech. So one of the things I was really scared about is because my name is just Jacob. I didn't want you guys. I was really scared that the community was going to name me something, and then that would be my name forever. And I really, really, really didn't want that to happen. And I'm kind of lucky, I guess. I don't know why, but that never ended up happening. And I guess the reason is that my name doesn't really rhyme with leech. Like, I guess or doesn't rhyme with leech. It doesn't include an L or E sound. So I guess leech cub. No, wait. What have I done? Hey, okay, leech cub is very, very uninspired. Please, at least Marleech goes along with the real name. Forget I said anything.
Fuck out. Tried to chat shit about me, man. Fucking cunt.
Jacob Anti. That's what assistants in the future should be called.
Swear to God. Right, hold tight, man, like Gengar.
It wasn't that I cared about being called a name. It's that I didn't want to be called a name at the very beginning, because then that name would become my name. Like, imagine Chicken Andy. Like, that guy's fucked. His name's Chicken Andy forever. Like, I would never want that to happen. You know what I mean? Late Cub. No, please, please. Wait, did he just say my name?
Right, hold tight, man, like Gengar. Hold tight, man, like fucking Jacob.
Oh, he said my name, fucking Jacob. What's fucking Charlie? I actually feel, if anyone doesn't know where this is from, Marley was, or not Marley, which is his YouTube name, was a guy who came to visit ICE and then came with us on a camping trip. Or, I'm sorry, not a camping trip, a survival stream trip. And sometimes when it comes to this sort of stuff, less is actually more. So having people help me actually caused me to be slower. So I told Marley to not... Oh, no, wait, that's not what happened. This was Gengar's thing. Okay, what happened with Marley is that Marley got really, really drunk during the survival stream. Like, ridiculously drunk. Like, I've never seen anyone this drunk besides Blade. And there was no way he could be, like... He couldn't be of any help. So Paul was getting really mad because Caroline had broken up with him, like, a day before or whatnot. And... he basically started yelling at me, and I was like, listen, I can't do everything at once. And he's like, well, where's Marley? And I said, Marley's drunk off his ass. There's nothing, he can't do anything. And he's like, what? Marley's drunk? Send Marley out here right now. So at that point, I'm like, Marley's drunk. Paul's angry. What do I do? And I eventually just was like, fuck it. So I sent Marley out into the woods to be on stream drunk, and then he just broke down and started crying. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, Marley. If you're watching this, I'm sorry. I didn't know what to do. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, Marley. I won't play this anymore, Marley. Forgive me, Marley. Forgive me, Gengar. I didn't mean to. Thank you, 8boy, for the $2.
Hey Jacob, great to see you again, mate. Listen, while I got you here, could you tell me if Kimberly was a generous lover?
Well, yeah, the boys, thank you for the $2. I don't know for sure. Wait, hold on, what'd you say? I was thinking about something real quick. Hey Jacob, great to see you again, mate, thank you. Listen, while I got here, can you tell me if Kimberly was a generous lover? I don't have any first-hand experience with that, but over the course of my assistanting for Paul, I will say that there are certain days when I would walk into Paul's room and the webcam would be unplugged, and there were certain days when the webcam would not be unplugged. And in my young, juvenile mind, I was able to put 2 and 2 together on why the webcam was unplugged on some days and why the webcam was unplugged on some other days, or not unplugged on some other days. And I would say at the frequency at which I saw it was unplugged, she is a very generous lover. I don't know if you guys can even get that joke. That's like an assistant thing. All the other assistants should come to the assistant convention and swap stories like that. Is that creepy that I just said that? And I'm just saying that Paul's bed was always placed in front of his computer. So, you know, if he was worried or, you know, about people watching him, hey, even I get worried about my webcam. So it's not in front of my bed. You can't really see anything, but... I didn't want to see. I didn't want to see the pegging. But Kimberly is very nice. She's a very good person. I have no problem with her. Never seen her do anything weird or I know there was a lot of talk back in the day about her like affecting the Reddit and like telling ICE to change things, but I mean, I feel like I was involved in a lot of those conversations, and I never once saw her raise her voice or speak her voice about anything involving the Reddit. So he may have done it regardless of that, but I didn't personally see any of that.
Do you even remember the login info for the PayPal associated with the Streamlabs? Or is all this money going into a black hole?
One second. Yes, I have it. Sorry, I wanted to check real quick. Yes, I have the access to the PayPal account. It's my PayPal, so yes, I do have the access to it. Thank you for thinking of that, though. That's actually a pretty good idea. What if at the end I was like, this all goes to ICE? ICE is going to demand his cut. Money for ICE. ICE is sitting there in bed, just like watching the money come in on notifications, going like, "Wow, people really love me." Who said that? Two. Thank you for the $2. And yeah, the boy. If I didn't thank you for the $2. Or $2 again. Yeah. IP2 donated with $1 and said, "What's your relationship with ICE these days? Could you ever see yourself being his manager again if he magically got his shit together?" My relationship with ICE is that I talk to him probably around once a month, based on the fact that he's been gone for 2 months and I've talked to him twice. And I mean, I like him. When I go to Austin in the future, I definitely want to see him. He's just a friend. I mean, really, that's it. I'm not business-wise, I don't have a business relationship with him, and I could definitely never see myself being his manager again. Now, not the main reason, just because, I mean, a lot of reasons, honestly. I mean, the fact that, he would have to change, and even if he changed, and even if there was a huge, monetary incentive, I'm still not sure I would do it. That's, no. I'm gonna have to say just straight up no to that. No, I could not. Good question, though.
Jacob, his eyes really broke like he says. You would know firsthand, I would think. Skull.
I lost access to Paul's bank. So I lost access to Paul's bank account when we stopped working together. So I have not seen it in 2 months. So I don't know how much money he currently has. And I don't think he'll care if I talk about this, because he on stream has said several times what I'm about to say. Every time he has, I'm sure you guys know of all the times that he's held up his phone to the camera and showed you how much money is that's in his bank account. I remember he did it once when he pulled out a receipt from an ATM and he showed you guys. And I remember him showing his Mint account to you guys on stream. Every time he has done that, that is the actual amount that is in his bank account at the time. So the last time he did that, I'm pretty sure it was right before the Streamer House, and he showed you his Mint account. And the Mint account was updated, and it was, I think, $6,004, I'm pretty sure. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. It was either 8,000 or 6,000. And I can 100% confirm that at that time of him showing that screenshot, that was all the money he had in the world. And I would even say that is all the assets he had in the world, because he had no home. His computer he can never sell his computer. It's not like a nice computer. I mean, it's nice, but it's not like something you can really resell. It's like covered in bodily fluids and Red Bull. He doesn't really own a lot of things that he could sell. So I would say his the assets that he has on hand is literally whatever in his bank account. He doesn't have a car. So the money, the $6K that was inside that account at that moment, was all the money he had in the world. And he told you guys this. He literally said, this is all the money I have in the world. And you guys didn't believe him. And don't get me wrong, I wouldn't believe him either if I wasn't working for him. That's it. Now, Ice is the kind of person where he can get a lot of money fast. There are times when he's had negative monies, but then a few weeks later, he's had 20, 25 plus K. So he gets money like in chunks every once in a while. Oh, and by the way, when he showed you that 6K in his bank account, which was all the money he had in the world in savings and everything else, his rent was $8,000 a month. So I don't remember when he showed that. I don't remember when he showed that to you, but if it was at the end of the month, he might as well been negative 2K in debt because he had to pay $8,000 like at the end of the month, at end of every month. I know you guys think I'm lying, but I don't know what to tell you. Let me put it this way: if Ice is lying, okay, and there is a secret bank account with hundreds of thousands of dollars in it, okay, then you must also believe that for 2 years he managed to take money from his PayPal to his bank account, to his checking account, and then transfer it to a secret savings account, and also leaving no transactional history whatsoever on either of these accounts. Because every single week I would go through the accounts and I would check every single transaction. If Ice was on this call, he would tell you the amount of times that I called him or texted him or DM'd him and said, Ice, what is this transaction for so-and-so? And sometimes he would know what it is, and sometimes he wouldn't, and we would know that his card was stolen. I'm the only one who did that. Paul never looked at his account. So for him to transfer money, like, you can believe he's lying, fine. But then but if you believe me, which I hope you do because I've never lied to you guys, you must also believe that he was able to siphon tons of money from the accounts without me ever knowing. And by the way, the only way he could have done that is if he went into Streamlabs and changed his email on certain days, had the money siphoned to a different PayPal account, and then use that money and put that in a savings account. Like, he would have had to go in every other day and like switch the account so I would never notice. Like, that's crazy. For all I know, he has 100,000 now. You know, who knows? But I'm telling you, at the end of it, that's all the numbers. I will not tell you how many numbers he had the day we stopped working together, because that's his business. But the day he showed you his account and he said, "Chat, this is how much money I have," he was telling the truth. No Bitcoin, no cryptocurrency. How often did he not know what the transaction was? I would say about once a month, probably. They weren't always people stealing his card. Sometimes it was like Uber. Like, once I waited, like, Uber would charge him like $700 every once in a while because whoever was the driver would, I don't know, say he like spilt something and Uber charges for like reupholstery in the car. And I would look through all the transactions and like, I would see 2 weeks ago there was a random charge from Uber for like $800. And I'd be like, Paul, you need to work on this. I mean, we need to fix this. And he would go into this Uber app and he would deal with it. But, you know, this is like 2 weeks had went by since that happened. Like, if I didn't point it out to him, he would have never noticed. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I'll be honest. One good thing I can say a lot of good things about Paul, but one good thing I can say about him is that he did spend a lot of money on content. Whether or not it was well spent money, that's up for you to discuss. That's up for you to decide. But he spent a lot of money, a lot of money. Holy smokes! You know, I remember asking him. Do you guys remember the townhouse on Hollywood Boulevard? It was like a 4-story townhouse. It's when we did the hamster ball stream on Hollywood Boulevard. I remember asking him, I remember sitting him down one day, and this was okay, I will get into this later, but just so you know where I'm coming from, oh my goodness, hold on. Is there a calendar? How do I, okay. Okay, from from October to November to December to January to February. How many months is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so for 5 months, Paul was in such a bad financial situation that I opted... Okay, before I say this, I want you to know that I had to convince Paul of this. He did not want to do it. I convinced him. And I'm glad I did for a reason I'll tell you in a second. For those 5 months that I just went over, I was not paid a salary. There was no monetary transaction between me and Paul. The reason for this, if you guys don't know, I was paid $2K a month, which I told him never to tell anyone, and he did anyway for some reason. I was not paid for 5 months because I asked not to be paid. And as you guys probably know, during that time, I was the one who was paying myself because I had access to his account. So after a certain point of him forgetting, I was just like, can I just pay myself at the end of every month? He's like, yeah. So I chose not to pay myself for 5 months because we were in such a bad financial state, and Paul was getting evicted from so many apartments. Like, he was getting evicted from his apartment so often that if I would have taken a salary, he would have been screwed. Like, I don't even know what he would have done at that point. Like, I don't know. Moving into a new apartment and deposit would be like $5,000, right? And he only had $4,000. And how it works is that whenever Paul was asked to leave, he was never officially evicted. He was always asked to leave. So when he was asked to leave, we always made a deal that we would leave at the end of the month. So it just so happened that he needed this money at the end of the month every time he was evicted. And that's when I'm paid. So if he only has like 4K in his bank account and he needs 5K, and it's the end of the month and we have to move, if I take 2K, he's going to be in really, really big trouble. I don't know what he would have done. So basically I said, hey, listen, don't pay me. Originally it was only going to be for 1 month, right? Because like, hey, it's fine. I mean, you're in a bad situation. You make every once in a while you make a lot of money. Next time I'll just take 2K. Next time I get a chance. The only problem is after the condo on Hudson where Greek stayed with him, he got evicted every month. So, or every month and a half, every 45 days, it was another eviction. So we started going through this cycle where at the end of every month, he would need to move again. And there was no money to move and to pay me. So, now, before you all saying, yada, yada, you know, Jacob, you're such a good guy. I never said I wasn't going to get paid at all. I always told him that I would get paid eventually. Now, yes, Paul could have just, closed up shop and left for Austin, Texas 2 years ago and left me high and dry. But I was fairly confident he wasn't going to do that. So, yes, I eventually did get paid back when the Live Me deal started next year. So after half a year of waiting, the Live Me deal came through, and it was like $40,000 because the first month was $40,000, and Brent, it was $50,000, and Brent took $10K. So he owed me $10K basically because I worked 5 months for free, and basically I took $10K. Like I said, hey, your Live Me money came through. You owe me $10K. Can I pay myself? And he's like, yeah, of course. Like, he knew the whole time that I was doing this. And that's it. I got a $10K payday at that day. So it all worked out in the end. But it was just funny. Why did I tell that story? What was I going off of? Or like, what was the reason for that story? Was I just saying that because it wasn't just a thing. The amount of money he had wasn't just a thing at the end of his LA career. It was also at the beginning. Wait, SSJ behind me. I don't see anything behind me. So Pretty much the first payment he got from Live Me, which was $40,000, was all taken, and he paid back everyone he owed money. He owed me $10K, which is a huge amount, which means he's left with $30K. And he owed Brent a bunch of money, so Brent took the $10K plus like 5 more K. I don't really know the number. I'm just saying he took more because he was owed money from something. And I mean, there were some other people he owed money to. Like at some point he owed Kyle a couple thousand as well. And I'm not sure if we paid him back then, but got him. I'm so stupid. Yeah, so he didn't really get a lot of that first. Smeep was owed a ton of money. Oh my goodness. I have a funny story about Smeep. Smeep was always paid for his videos and stuff. Like I made sure he was paid. But back when I first started working for ICE, which was during the summer of 2017, I went home for my birthday, which is in September. And I went home to a resort. It was like I went on vacation for my birthday with my family to a resort called like Tommy Bahama. No. It's called Margaritaville. Have you guys ever heard of that hotel chain? So I went to Margaritaville with my family, my whole family. And the day before my birthday in the hotel room, I get a call from Smeep. And I don't think I've ever talked. I think I've talked to Smeep once before. And I said, "Hey, Smeep, what's going on?" And Smeep's like, "Hey, Jacob, I have a question." And he sounded really down, like he was sad. I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, what's up? Hey, I'm home for my birthday. What's up?" And he says, "Well, I wonder if you could talk to ICE for me about getting paid." And I'm like, "Oh, getting paid? Yeah, of course you can. I mean, yeah, of course I can." This is before I had access to ICE's money, so I didn't pay out anyone. So I said, "Yeah, of course I can help you get paid. You should get paid at the end of every month. Is that not going on?" He's like, "No, not really." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, how much are you getting paid per month?" He's like, "Well," he gave me I don't know if this number is public, so I don't want to say it, but he gave me a number. And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, for sure. I can definitely make sure he gives that to you as soon as possible." Oh, and then he said, "Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't paid last month either." And then I'm like, "Oh, okay. So double that. He owes you double that." And of course, I was going to confirm with Paul if this was all true or not. So he's like, "Yeah. The thing is, Jacob, I've never been paid." And I'm like, wait, and I'm like, at this time, Smeep has been working for ICE longer than me. And I was already paid like 2 months because I'd already gone through 2 months of, work with Paul. And I said, "Wait, Smeep, you've been working with Paul since like way long ago. I don't even remember. It's been like 6 months or something, or 5 months. It's been a long time." And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "What do you mean you've never been paid? I don't get it. Like, you make all his videos. You've been working for him nonstop for months." And then so he asked me, "Jacob, what do you think I should do?" And I'm like, "What?" Like, you don't understand. Like, I'm very new at the job at this point. Like, I don't really have a handle on how everything operates. So I asked him, I'm like, "Smeep," like, I was very straight with him. I'm like, "Smeep, like, what would I do? I'd fucking quit. Like, what the fuck?" Like, I cursed in front of my family. I didn't know what to say. I was like flabbergasted. I didn't know. So I have no idea. Name a worse pair than ICE and his editors. It's like every editor we've ever had turned out so poorly. There were always problems. Lataris, Smeep, Keenan. So eventually I just told Smeep, "I will do everything in my power to get you paid, but I can't do anything now." And he's like, "Okay." So I don't mean to talk too highly of myself, but when we finally got the money, the reason that I was paid, Smeep was owed almost as much as me. So the reason that I got my money when I did, back when the live media came out in 2018, is because the first time we ever had a certain amount of money that we could give to someone, we gave it to Smeep. So Smeep was paid very quickly after that. And I don't think it was too many months. I mean, not that not paying someone for 1 month is bad, but I'm just saying it wasn't like 5 months like me. I think it was like 3 months. But he would know more than me. It was just funny. So that was a funny story. I'll always remember that. And I think Smeep was a very good editor. I don't know. I watched some of his videos the other day because I was going through all the old VODs, and he did a pretty good job. I think his channel's... I couldn't find his channel, which I think is gone, but... No, Ice didn't hurt me badly. Look, are these really bad things? Like, come on. Ice's brand is that he's scuffed. These are just funny stories. Believe me, Ice has never once not paid someone back. He has always paid someone back. It just takes a long time. Like, for all I know, because I didn't have access to Ice's finances back then, for all I know, Ice didn't have any money. You know what I mean? Not that that's an excuse at all, but I don't think it's fair to say that Ice was purposely not paying Smeep. It's possible he had no money. I don't know. I didn't have access back then. That was a long time ago. But yeah, weird story. Not paying people so funny. Hey, don't look at it that way. Look at it as a humor situation that you can laugh about now because everything worked out in the end. Obviously, I do not advise people to not pay anything. Please always pay your employees. Please, I beg you to pay your employees. Cornbread. Cornbread was before my time. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, wait. Cornbread he didn't pay. Okay. Within my life, within my lifespan, I was not here during the Cornbread days. I was just a viewer shitposting on Q. I never paid Chad's editor. I was way out of it back when Chad's editor came in. Like I didn't deal with any of that kind of stuff. Gorilla Hands donated $2 to ask for that question. You guys are getting a lot of answers out of your $2. So I don't know if he's broke now, to answer your question. I would hope not, considering that Texas is a lot cheaper. And he's not spending a lot on content.
Peppers in the chat, boys.
This is a video. 1 second.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right. Just ban that person. Paul Danino donated $1, but it didn't go through. It says, "Yo, dog, since you are using one of my accounts, can you send everyone over to my stream after you're finished? Also, please don't talk shit about me and Brett. Remember the video I have of you." And there's a video of me. There's a video of, I'm assuming, me. Let's see what this is. Oh, it's the gnome. Ah, okay, don't do that, please. I've never seen that one. It's the one where it says you have mere seconds to live. Oh, fudge. Okay. I don't mind I hate those jump scares. Thank you, Paul Dino, for the $1.
Why did Paul have all the weird kids stuff around his mini houses? Like the kids shampoo, kid clothes, kid underwear, etc.
Let's go through these one by one. Why did Paul have... Chris Hansen, thank you for the $5. You truly want to know this, and I will give you an answer, sir. Why did Paul have all the weird kid stuff around his many houses? Like the kid shampoo. Okay, the kid shampoo was Voldasad's. Voldasad, the first time I ever saw it was at Whitley when I first started working for Paul. So he had that shampoo from Whitley to Hudson to Cielo to Camden to Vin's. Like this, I don't think he ever used it. I think he just took it with him to every apartment. I once asked Voldasad what was up with the kids shampoo, and I don't remember what he said. So what I'm about to say may not be true, but I think he said that his friend gave it to him as a joke, and he's just always kept it because I guess when you get shampoo as a joke, you put it in your toiletry case. So that's the story with the shampoo. I know it sounds like an excuse, but like when I was in high school, there was this year, my entire senior year, it was apparently a fad to wear children's backpacks to school. Like instead of a real backpack, everyone wore children's backpacks. They wore like Superman and Pixar Cars backpacks. So it's not that out of place for your friend to give you children's shampoo as a joke. Like, hey, you're smelly, here's some shampoo. And it's like Thomas the Train Engine shampoo, you know what I mean? So what do I think is more likely? That his friend gave him shampoo as a joke, or he uses it to lure children? What do you think? Obviously, it's probably a joke, but that's what he told me. I think. I know I asked him, and I think that was his answer. See, everyone in the chat is saying it was the same for me. The kids, it was apparently like a fad. So even though it's not funny to me, it must be funny to some people to like use children's stuff. I don't know. Wait, I'm going through. I'll get to the children's underwear. Okay, kid underwear. I know what image you're talking about. I have no idea. I don't know. The image that was making its rounds around Reddit was compiled like months after that stream was that image was taken. Like that underwear was on stream. So like I obviously didn't go back and like be like, hey Paul, why is there children's underwear? Like he didn't even have a closet. At that point he may have moved. Like he didn't even have that closet anymore. So I don't really know. To be honest, I never asked him. The only I know you guys hate when I try to give Paul the benefit of the doubt, but you know, that's just the way I am. Is there any possible chance that was just his normal underwear? I mean, he's like waist size 28. Like, how can you really tell what size underwear is on a live stream? Like, I don't know. He has small underwear. Maybe it was his. I don't even want to talk about this. There are some things that must never be spoken about. Awful things. But in all seriousness, I don't know, dude. I know what you're talking about, but it's far. If you want me to be honest with you, which I always try to be, it's far more likely Voldasad got gifted kid shampoo as a joke, and those are Paul's underwear because he's a twig, than them luring children into their house. A house that is live streamed and that I am at almost every day. That I was at almost every day. Like, I'm just gonna be real with you. Thank you.
Not sure if other dono went through, but are you streaming every day now?
It did not go through. Thank you, Ordinary Toaster. If I see one from you, I'll refund it though. What man in this world could stream every day at 3 p.m.? No man, as far as I'm concerned. But yes, we are streaming Minecraft every day. Only until Paul DMs me and tells me that I can no longer stream on this channel. Then I am I'm in big trouble.
Why does Paul have weird kid stuff in his house? Why does Paul have kid shampoo and kid underwear? Is Paul a pedo?
I see a lot of people are donating twice. Just so you know, I have donations on accept decline, like moderated. So I'm accepting all of them, but I'm just letting them go one by one. So there's a queue right now, so it'll eventually pop up on stream. I already answered that, David. I'm assuming you're Chris Hansen or whatever. Elixir. Ask Elixir, you might know.
Don't know if this has been asked. Terry's a clip out there at the mansion, trying to get Mexican Andy to go upstairs. Has ISS worded himself?
Don't know. Chad donated $2. Thank you, Chad. Don't know if this has been asked. There's a clip out there at the mansion trying to get Mexican Andy to go upstairs. Wait, what? There's a clip out there at the mansion trying to get Mexican Andy to go upstairs. Has Ice S-worded himself? Are you saying there's a clip up there of trying to get, like, Paul's trying to get Mexican Andy upstairs because Mexican Andy's filming him? I don't really understand your question. I'm guessing that you're saying that there's a clip out there that implies that Paul swats himself. And as I've said with a lot of things on this little AMA, no. Like, there is no evidence that he swats himself. Like, the only thing that's close that you could say, oh, this proves that he swats himself, is I remember there was a clip during, like, the ball stream where his phone was pre-dialed to 911. And the only thing I have to say to that is that I have accidentally had the emergency, you know how, like, I don't know if this is how it is on Androids, but on iPhones, if you hit the power button 5 times in succession, it gives you an SOS screen. And if you swipe the SOS screen, it calls the police. I have activated this screen so many times, and I'm not a Butterfinger streamer like Paul is. Now, have I ever accidentally called the police? No. So that's a little weird. But again, if I stick up for Ice Poseidon here, he probably just hit the button 5 times. Like, I know you don't believe me, but what am I supposed to say? Like, no, he's never swatted himself. Why would he do that? It makes no sense. Like, to be honest, a lot of the swattings happened before I was brought on board, like during the 1600 Vine days. I would say like over 50% of them, and I wasn't around for that. But no, I have never seen, like, first of all, it would require someone besides him. There's no way he would swat himself because he wouldn't want his voice being used. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot of work. You can't. It's not easy just to swat yourself, especially so many times. So no, I would say, what was the question again? Has Ice S-worded himself? No, he has not swatted himself. I would be shocked if he has. Publicity, I know people say that, and I mean, that is a reason people might swat themselves, but I still don't think he has. Listen, you guys know I will call him out whenever I know he has done something wrong. But if I'm definitely not going to accuse someone of swatting themselves if I don't think they have, and if I don't know they have.
Can I get a quick rundown on the FBI raid? How did you know it was coming? How come you dipped the day before? Also, what does Sam and Andy actually smell like?
Friller donated $3. Thank you very much, Friller. Can I get a quick rundown on the FBI raid? How did you know it was coming? So, to answer the first part of that question, I did not know it was coming. So I never had an official room at the streamer mansion. One of the rooms was being worked on because the ceiling was leaking. And when I say the ceiling was leaking, it was leaking bad. You know how paint becomes kind of elastic when it dries? So the paint was like bubbling down. It was like half a water balloon phasing through the ceiling. And it just happened to have rained. It just happened to have rained like the week before we moved in. And that was the first time it had rained in LA in like a year. So I guess they didn't know they had a leak, and the entire roof was just ruined. So they had to call in a company to come fix it, and that took like 2 months. So for 2 months, I wasn't actually sleeping in the mansion. I was just working there. So whenever you saw me, I wasn't living there. So I just happened to go home because I always went home. Now, to be fair, so wait, the clip of Paul taking a shower isn't even what I'm talking about. There was another leak in my room, which you guys really didn't see that too much of. So yeah, by the time the FBI raided the mansion, I think the leak was fixed. So I actually could have been sleeping there. But I mean, I had lady friends at home. I didn't want to sleep there too often, you know what I mean? Like, what's the big deal if I didn't sleep there? So yeah, it was just coincidence. It was just coincidence. How did you know it was coming? I didn't. How come you dipped the day before? I didn't. I left at 3 a.m. and the raid, from what I hear, was at 7. Not 7. It was at 6 a.m. So I left with Nathan 3 hours before. But I had been leaving every single night, so it really didn't matter when it was. I probably wasn't going to get hit with it. Also, what does Salmon Andy actually smell like? He smells bad, if I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't know what he smells like now, but he always smelled very bad. I don't think this is that mean to say because he didn't shower. Like, if he showered, he smelled fine. He didn't have, like, medical grade BO that was like impossible to avoid. He just didn't shower because he was homeless and he smelled. I mean, he's the only person actually that ever actually smelled. I know everyone liked to make memes on the Reddit with that, like, Burger Planet smells, Paul smells, but to be honest, I never smelled anything bad coming from anyone except Sam and Andy. Definitely should always shower when you get a chance. Speaking of Sam and Andy, I actually really, this might sound weird, but I actually miss Sam and Andy a lot. I always thought Sam and Andy was really funny. Maybe not, I wouldn't want to live with him, but I always thought he was just a really good, like, villain almost. I don't know if you guys ever thought this way. Like, one of the arguments I had with Paul and Brent towards the end of the streamer house, do you guys remember when Sam and Andy started camping outside the streamer house? So back when we moved into the house, people like Sam and Andy and Burger coming to the house and setting up shop right outside it was like what I wanted the most. It was exactly what I thought would happen, and I was so excited for it to happen. Just like the car following RV Trip 1 when EBZ slapped Sam Pepper, that kind of stuff is my favorite. I love that so much. It's like having a homeless man who like Sam and Andy's the kind of homeless man, but I don't think he's crazy. Like he's actually well spoken and he's able to get his thoughts across pretty well. So for him to be like this crazy homeless guy who sets up a tent outside of the Streamer Mansion and he harasses Steve Jobs and he harasses Paul and he's got a camera pointed into Paul's bedroom window, like that is literally the epitome of comedy. I don't think anything funnier happened to the Streamer House besides that. Like that is the funniest shit. Like I don't know who like this just shows like. This just shows that Brent wasn't like inherently, like SSJ was not inherently trying to do any wrong. He wasn't like going out of his way to cause problems with the community, but he didn't have like his finger on the pulse of the community. Like he didn't know. Like anyone who watched the streams, anyone who was a part of the community would know that that shit is funny. Like that's what everybody wants. Like the fact that he didn't, I guess it's kind of weird that Paul didn't see that either. But I guess when you're filming inside someone's window, you have a different perception. Like maybe if Sam and Andy was filming inside my window, I wouldn't feel this way. But it's just, dude, it's just funny. Like I don't know if you guys remember. I don't know if you guys watched Sam and Andy stream on the day. Not only that, but like the stuff when the mansion gets raided by the FBI, Sam and Andy would be there. He would be like outside on the sidewalk, woken up by 20 FBI agents. Like that's the universe that was so great. That's like the reason I watched. It's like all I wanted. Do you guys remember the day of the FBI raid when Sam and Andy was outside the house and he was filming it from a distance because Paul and Britt kept calling the cops on him? And I went up to their roof and I started waving at him. And he started waving at me and yelling that he wants his knife back. Mate, Sam and Andy, if you're watching this or you ever watch this, that knife is gone. Like nothing makes it from one house to another. Nothing. Your knife, you left your knife at the old house. The house on I forgot the address. The actual house, the first house Paul ever had. Like it's gone, buddy. It's gone. There's no way that's still anywhere. Like, I think one of the funniest things about Salmon is that he's so confident in everything he does. He's almost like DJ. Salmon's actually more confident than DJ. I've never seen Salmon second guess himself. He's always down. He always thinks he's right, and he's always down to like be the team leader. Like if he was in a classroom and the teachers separated everyone into groups, he would be group leader. He would demand to be group leader, like even if he's not good at it. Oh, but by the way, Sam and Andy did a horrible job repainting the guest house. So sorry, Sam and Andy, you're not that great. So if you don't know, after the prison stream, I paid like Sam and Andy $200 to fix the guest house because he said he could do it, and then he did it. He fixed the guest house, and then I invited the landlords, 2 of them, over to the guest house to see the damages because they wanted to see it. And they looked at me and they said, "This is the worst job we've ever seen. We would have rather you not fixed it at all. It's going to cost us more money now to tear down the horrible job that you did." And you know what they said to me after? They said, "Give us the number of the person you hired to do this." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure. I'll give you the number of the homeless man that I paid $200. Oh, and by the way, this is also at the time when their house was listed as a homeless shelter. It was like a scene right out of a sketch comedy show when they both look at me and the wife is like, "Who did this? Who did you hire to do this?" And I'm like, "Who else but Salmon?" Who else? I think he's still sleeping in the shower. He likes to sleep near the heat source. I think he slept over there. I didn't mention that it was going to be $250, but I said he could sleep there for the 2 days it took him. I think he took 2 days on purpose so he could sleep there, but my honest opinion. Oh, he's done so much funny stuff. The MacBook thing. Oh, So many people have done so much. I could spend the whole day talking about all the funny stuff people have done. But I mean, I'm just retreading old like memories at this point. Like DJ, I could get a whole thing about DJ and how funny he is. Poor DJ. I didn't even finish asking where he went. I don't know if anyone even knows. I'll get more into salmon later.
I rarely donate, but you 100% deserve it. You were critical to Paul's success and never got a lot of credit for it. I hope your search for a new job goes well, and I hope to see more streams of you. Keep it up, my dude, and glad to see you doing well.
Thank you, Who's That, for the $5. My new job is pretty much set in lock. I'm flying out to the locale soon to check out the area, and if I like it, I think I'm going to move there. So, yeah, everything's looking good on that front. But thank you. Yeah, thank you for the $5. That's very cool of you. I always felt like I actually did get quite a bit of credit for what I was doing. You know, people behind the scenes, they're not really supposed to get much credit. So for the credit that I got, honestly, I think it was more than enough. And keep it up, dude. I'm glad to see you doing well. Thank you very much. Who's that? Very nice donation.
What were your thoughts about Tice's Caroline relationship? How real/fake was it? And what do you think about his current one?
Warmstream donated $2. Thank you, Warmstream. Very nice of you. I don't want to scam a donation, but this is one I really don't even like. I could talk about this, but I honestly do not want to. Ice has said this several times, and also I'll just repeat him. Ice and Caroline's relationship was extremely toxic. It was not 100% Caroline's fault, but it wasn't 100% Paul's fault. There were two people that were not right for each other. And just saying that, I feel deja vu, because I feel like so many people have said that. I almost feel like it's come out of Voldasad's mouth as well. You guys all know that. I don't need to retread trodden ground. They were not right for each other. They said they loved each other. They were on again, off again. I mean, it may have been his first girlfriend. I don't even know, but yeah. I mean, it was a bad relationship that ended poorly, and it'll be a life lesson for him for the rest of his life. Let me think if I can think about anything about them that might be interesting for you. I mean, it's mostly just sad. Actually, hold that thought for 1 second. I really need to get a glass of water and go to the restroom. 1 second. Be nice to each other. I don't know what Pokemon was talking about in her tweet when she said guys don't have to wipe after going to the bathroom. I have never not wiped. Like my urethra. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't wipe, then urine will come out afterwards. I mean, am I a fucking mutant? Like, what's going on here? Didn't wash his hands. You don't know that. Door was shut. Where were we? What was I talking about? Caroline? What are your thoughts on Isis Caroline relationship? Yep. Toxic relationship. They would both agree with that. Nothing there. How real fake was it? It was real. I mean, they certainly weren't together to hide anything. They did. They said they both loved each other. There's really nothing. There was nothing. I mean, you could say it's fake if you want because you knew that it wasn't going to last, but that's a weird word to describe it. I can tell you a funny story about when I figured out that Caroline and Paul were still dating. If you guys want to hear that. I consider myself a bit of a masked... What are you saying exposed for? What did I do? Hey, I have OCD about certain things and not OCD about other things. What was I going to say? Oh, I can tell you a funny story about when I found out that Caroline and... Paul were still dating. So this was back when Paul got Pepper, if you remember that when that was. So I got a random text out of the blue. So at this point, I have no idea that Paul and Caroline are together. He has done an amazing job at keeping it a secret for 2 months. Or no, not 2 months. How long was it? They got back together in January, February. All of January, all of February, March, April. He's done an amazing job at keeping it secret for 4 months. So at this point, I'm 100% confident they're not together. Like there's some rumors on the Reddit every once in a while, but honestly, it's like nothing big. There was that picture of her down in the lobby at the Camden. Like that was the gist of it. So one day I get a random text from Caroline. I don't even have her number saved anymore. I get a random text from Caroline. She even says, "Hey, it's Caroline." And she says, "Can you check the back of Paul's car for my medication? I really need it." So I'm like, what? I don't, like, you want me to check the back of Paul's car? Like, what do you mean? Like, how long? Like, in my head, I'm thinking, how long ago did you leave it in Paul's car? Like, what's going on? But I don't remember why I did this, but like at this point, I literally just say okay. Like I say sure. Like I text her back sure. Like I'm a very straightforward texter. Like if someone texts me to do something, I'm not going to get into all my thoughts and stuff. I say sure. Paul was gone on a trip, and I'm the one with his car keys, and I'm the only one in Los Angeles. So I'm there every day. So I go down to the garage for the Camden, and I look for her stuff, and I text her back and I say, "There's nothing here with your name on it. Sorry." And she says, "Oh, no problem," smiley face. And that's it. That was the extent of our conversation, and I thought it was really weird. And that was when I first started because prescription medicine doesn't it like expire or something? Like, can you just leave it in someone's car for months? So that's when I knew something was up. So the next time I knew something was up was when I walked into Paul's apartment one day at the Camden, and I noticed that he had a brand new humidifier because he was sick. As if you don't know, when you're sick, a humidifier helps get all the mucus out of your nose. This was a brand new humidifier, top of the line, everything. It was also huge. Like normal humidifiers are like this big. Paul's humidifier was like this big. It was like some alien technology. It looked really weird. If you've never seen a humidifier, the new ones that are coming out nowadays are like, they're really weird shapes because they're kind of considered like furniture and art pieces or whatnot. It looked really weird. It looked like an alien birthing pod. And I thought to myself, well, that's kind of weird. Paul's never bought himself Advil, let alone a humidifier for his runny nose. That's kind of weird. So I just let it go, whatever. And then a few weeks later, there's a post on Reddit, and it basically shows that the boxes from one of his the boxes from one of his P.O. box unboxing are still in the same place that they were on the bed before, like from the day before. You know what I mean? Do you guys remember this post on the Reddit? He opened all his boxes and he threw the boxes behind him and they landed on his bed. And then the next day on the next stream, he started his stream and the boxes were in the same position, meaning that he hadn't slept on his bed. So that was like a big one. At that point, just so you know, during this time, I did ask him, dude, are you seeing Caroline? That's what's going on. You can tell me. And he told me no. So I was asking questions, but you know, I just wanted to do my job at the end of the day. So yeah, confirmed clone. Yeah. So so we've got the medication, the humidifier, and the boxes. So then a few days later, I get there very, very early at the Camden. And I notice that Paul is eating a grilled cheese sandwich. Now, wait, hold on. You might think to yourself, Jacob, now you're being silly. How is a grilled cheese sandwich evidence? Anyone could make a grilled cheese sandwich. Wrong. First of all, Paul would never make a grilled cheese sandwich in his life, and he never has. But what tipped me off is that the grilled cheese sandwich was covered in spices. Spices exactly, and it was spiced and it was cut the exact same way that Caroline used to make him every day back when they were dating openly. Oh, the wheels started turning. Now I knew. There's no chance. The medication, the alien birthing pod, the boxes, the grilled cheese sandwich. This guy is sloppy, but I needed a clincher. I needed a clincher to bring him down, to take him down and to actually, you know, get a verdict. So, the next day is when my big break came. You'll think I'm quite. I see you in the chat there. You'll think I'm quite the detective after I tell you this last part. So, real quick, when I tell you this last clue, I want you all to type exposed with the alien emoji, because this one's a doozy. I walk in to the apartment and Caroline's there holding Pepper, the chinchilla. And I look at Caroline and I say, and that's when I knew. That's when it all came together. Yeah, that last part was a joke. I walked in, I saw her, and I was like, what's going on? Like, I knew the second I walked in. I pretty much knew by the grilled cheese sandwich, but when apparently he must have knew I knew by that time, because like she's in his apartment. At that point, I'm like, all right, I know what's going on. I get it. I'm now a patsy in your crimes. Sad, I know. And then, however long it was, I think it was like 3 months until the first RV trip. However long it was, I basically just didn't talk about it. Like, that's honestly the case. I didn't talk about it for 3 months. And let's be honest, would you guys have wanted me to expose him? If you say yes now, I think you're lying. Like, if you don't remember, Paul, during this time, was doing better than he had ever done before. Like, his viewers were up. He was actually going stream on time. He was actually starting his stream on time. Like, it wasn't perfect, but, you know, if I like, what was I supposed to do? Quit? Go on Reddit and make a post? Like, how exactly would I have handled that? And, like, there was no way to handle it. Just forget I saw anything. Just take my bribe from the Illuminati and just keep on going. Pepper knew all along. Yeah, Pepper should have said something. That's right. Put your hate on Pepper. But yeah, you guys, yeah, anyone who's saying yes, I don't think so. If they said yes, I don't know. I feel like it would have been worse. If it saved you from Horseshoe Bay, it would have been Horseshoe Bay then. Like, Horseshoe Bay just wouldn't have been moved up 4 months or 3 months, however long it was. Not only that, I probably would have been fired and you never would have seen me again. Like, it was a lose-lose situation. This is why I always say, never lie. Just don't lie. It's so easy. You don't have to keep a million lies in your head. Just tell the truth. Pepper is a yes man. So that was it. I've actually told that story a few times. I think it's really funny. Like, that story is actually true. All me going into the apartment and seeing all these little things that tip me off. Like, it's a very TV-esque, like cinematic-esque way to find out.
Just subscribe, then we get up to recap our.
Thank you, Chicken Andy, for $5. Yes, I will do a recap. I don't mind. Not right now. I want to go through all the stories first, but yeah, I will do one. It's Real Chicken Andy. Thank you for the cool stream yesterday. You were the only one streaming, and that was greatly appreciated. I can't remember. Is Chicken Andy the guy who gave us the chicken, or is he the guy who took the chicken? Give the dirt on J-Pod. Oh, J-Pod was the worst. He may have seemed innocent, but he had his motives. I actually don't want to get on J-Pod's bad side, so I'll leave him out of this. Not Marley donated $1 and said, "Hey, man, what do you think of this, man?" All right, it is a picture of a man. All right, I can't watch this because it's 83 views, and I don't want to. What'd I say? Oh, I thought you were correcting my speech or something. You took the chicken. Okay, he took the chicken. Okay, that's good. Someone named Not Marley donated me $1 and sent me to a video with 83 viewers. I don't want to play this just in case. It looks very weird. But Not Marley, just know that I watched it. I'm watching you rub ketchup on your nipples right now. It's hypnotizing, but I'm not. I'll show you I don't even know if I want to show this on stream. Thank you. For $1, that's not worth showing on stream. Sorry. Chicken Andy, again, said IPT recap, don't scam.
If to recap, don't scam.
I will watch all the top clips from the past, month. I don't mind. It's fine with me. I hope I don't get addicted to it again. If I do, I'll take a single drink like Blade and be on the wagon. Or off the wagon, whichever one it's called.
Why did Piss Boy have weird milk AID stuff in his house like the clothes and shampoo?
David, you already asked that. Why do you think?
What about the 10K he said you found in another account? That was supposedly forgotten about.
No, I won't scam. I know how important I know how fun Reddit recaps are, and I've been there. Believe me, I will definitely do it. Nick, thank you for the $2. Nick said, "What about the 10K?" Oh, okay, so this is a really good story. Is it too dark? I think the sun's going down. I feel like I've been streaming for a while. I don't know. The weird thing about studio apartments is there's never any like good light. I have 4 light bulbs, like 4 ceiling lights. This entire apartment. It's like 500 square feet. Okay, so this is not a funny story, but I'll tell you what the deal with that money was. Okay, I have to make sure everything is ordered in my mind correctly because this was over 2 years ago at this point. When ICE was banned for the first time ever on YouTube, he signed with a YouTube network called Omnia. I think it's just called Omnia. And he partnered with them because they claimed they would be able to get him unbanned. So he partnered with them, they got him unbanned, and then after that, he left Omnia and went back to his original network. But during the time that Paul was involved with Omnia, he had to sign up for PayPal deposits. And coincidentally, during that time, we were using a different business PayPal account because we were trying some sort of tax thing that we were told would help in the long run. After Paul got unbanned and he left Omnia, the business PayPal account was banned. It was banned for too many chargebacks. And the reason I believe this happened so easily is because the PayPal account was brand new. I had just created it like 3 weeks before. His current account probably has way more chargebacks than that one, but it's so old, it's not going to be locked anytime soon, I don't think. So what ended up happening is Paul ended up joining Omnia like 6 months later, completely unrelated. And what happened is when he signed up with Omnia for the second time, it took all his information from the first time. So it connected his Omnia account to his old business PayPal that no one had touched in like 6 months. So 3 months go by and he's getting no YouTube money. And every day he's asking Brent, where's the money? Where's the money? And Brent says, they're having problems. They're having problems. It's coming. It's coming. Little did we know that the payments were coming on time every month. They were just going into an account that nobody had looked in for 6 months. And I guess the email account associated with it was also an email account that no one had looked in for 6 months. So one day I'm playing around on my phone and I go to open my PayPal account, but I accidentally click the business PayPal account icon. If anyone has a PayPal account and a business PayPal account, you know that the icons are very similar. And the account opens up and there's $38,000 in the account. And I'm like, what? Like, I freak out for a second. I think that someone must have sent me money. But what I don't realize at the time is that this is Paul's old account and the Omnia payments are coming in. They've been coming in for months. Like, they've been going into this account that I have access to, but I never bothered to check it for months and months, which was weird because I don't know why SSJ was telling us that they weren't coming when they were always on time. I don't even know if he was even talking to them at that point. But yeah, so eventually, just by complete random happenstance, I'm surprised that Paul, after 3 months, because his payments on YouTube were almost $12,000 a month. So I was surprised after 3 months that he didn't bother to just contact Omnia himself. So randomly, I just happened to open the business PayPal account and bam, there's $38,000 sitting in there. So when people say oh, Paul's so rich, he forgot about $38,000, it's more like he's so indifferent to money that he didn't bother to check where that money was going. And just so you know, during these 3 months, he's got $10,000 to his name. So he literally quadrupled his money in one day. I mean, for all I know, he's just very easygoing and he always knew the money would come eventually. But yeah, it was in there for 3 months. It kept piling up. No, SSJ didn't scam anyone. He didn't have access to that account. I did. I just, no one bothered. I would have never dreamed that any money would be put in there ever again. Funny story, though. I like that one.
Low up 2 using these funny stories as ammo.
Yeah, I thought they would do that. I mean, I hope you guys don't feel like I've said anything too crazy today. I mean, what's the most that I've done? I've confirmed a lot of stuff that Paul already said. What? I'm not going to not talk about certain things because IP2 will use them as ammo. You know what I mean? Hey, you guys want to use stories as ammo? Fine by me. I only ask you this. Please do not be offended on anything on my behalf. No, I don't. I'm very, very easygoing. I have never got in an argument or any sort of. I have no problems with anyone. That's just who I am, and that's probably who I'll be for the rest of my life. So please don't get angry on my behalf. I know that is a long shot, but I beg you, please. Okay, wait. But on that topic, I can tell you one time me and Paul got in an argument. You'll love this one. This one's not a bad story about Paul. This is actually really funny. He'll like that I told you this. This is really funny. So, do you guys remember back when we were dealing with... So, back when I started working for Paul, that was in September 2017, we started using the Terra deck. I started using the Terra deck. He'd already been using it for months. And I was put in charge of making sure the Terra deck was ready to go every single day. And if you ever looked at my Twitter in the early days, you'll see that I was constantly fiddling with it. I was constantly building new versions of it. IRL Backpack 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. And I was always trying to make it as easy to disassemble and reassemble as possible and as simple as possible so that Paul couldn't possibly mess anything up. But it wasn't working. Every single day, it felt like there was another problem that occurred. And I had no idea what was causing it. No idea. I didn't know what to do. People are DMing me. They're telling me it's my fault, and it very may well have been. Paul's asking what's going on, and I always told him I just don't know. Everything's plugged in when you start the stream. I don't know how it's breaking every single day. like for all I know, a rat is sneaking into your house at night and chewing through wires. Like there's so many options. And at the very height, if you guys say I've never been hated on Reddit, you might be true. That might be true. But definitely during this time, that was when I was the closest to it, because I was solely responsible for keeping the streams going. And if I didn't keep the streams going, that was like, it didn't matter what else I did. And don't get me wrong, you were right to blame me. It's my job to keep the streams going, so I should keep the stream going. So I was under a little bit of stress because I didn't like that. That's how everything was coming together. So one day, Paul gets back from a late night stream. And this is when Greek was staying with us. And Paul gets back from a late night stream. And I opened every night, basically what I would do is I would take the tarot deck and I would take it apart. I would take every single piece apart and I would put it all together. I would rebuild the entire thing, step 1 to step 20, from scratch to rebuild it. And that actually was helping a lot. That helped a lot. So one day, Paul gets home and I open the tarot deck, the backpack with the tarot deck in it. And the entire backpack, the insides and the tarot deck, is covered in chocolate. It's covered in chocolate. Every port, every screen, every inch of the backpack is covered in chocolate, like melted chocolate, like the kind of chocolate that you would find in your child's backpack when they come home from preschool. Like, there's just nothing but chocolate all over every wire, every port, every button. It's covered in chocolate. And this isn't the first time that something like this had happened, but it had never been this bad. And I turned to Paul. I'm in this kitchen. And I turned to Paul and I say, why is everything covered in chocolate? And he looks at me because he had gotten, there's a ton of people at this house right now. This is probably the house we've had the most people in. Like, people were always coming over to this house because Paul was like the height of his popularity. And, well, I mean, I guess not the height, but very popular. And people were always coming over. So he had a bunch of girls and boys over. And people, I tried to get him away from them for a second. And I'm like, Paul, why is the backpack covered in chocolate? Like, I'm almost angry. And he says, I don't know. And he just turns away. He just walks away. And I'm so angry. That was the only time I think I've ever gotten angry in 2 years of working with him. I was so bad. You know that joke people say, that joke people make when they say like, oh, you're so stupid, you probably use your CD drive as a waffle maker? That's what it felt like. Like, there was like chocolate in the USB port. Like, to this day, I have no idea how so much chocolate got in there. My only theory is that Paul used to put stuff inside of the backpack because he used it as a backpack as well. And he must have just had candy in there. And it must have just like melted. Like, I don't know. I don't know how I didn't see it the day before. Maybe he like hid it in there or something. And also, this is after me telling him not to use the streaming backpack for anything but streaming, because he would use the backpack for other things too. Like, he would put his stuff in it and go out, and he would like use he would take out the battery and he would use it to charge his phone when he was off, when he didn't have to stream on certain days. So like, it like all boiled up in my brain, and I'm like, no. I probably almost got a knife and just took him out right there. I had to stop myself. It's a funny story though. Greek put chocolate in there probably. He had to hide. Greek had to hide his snackies.
Jacob, did SSJ really make out like a bandit with the investor money? SSJ said he made close to $1 million and bought a home in Hawaii. What are your personal thoughts on SSJ and the mansion fiasco?
Thank you very much, Ryan, for the $2. Did SSJ really say he bought a mansion in Hawaii? Because I feel like he's been gone from the internet for so long. There's no way he would have come back just to say he bought a mansion in Hawaii. I know as much as SSJ said on Harvey's stream a few months ago, like 2 months ago. If you don't know, SSJ went on Harvey's stream and he said that he was given a check for $500,000 to leave the house early before the lease ended, and that the current owners of the house were suing him for excessive damages. So that is the last I heard. it's gone through a few iterations before it had gone through a few iterations before it finally landed on that. So I'm not sure which one was real. But originally the idea was that we would leave the house. Everyone would leave the house. And the owner of the house, the landlord, would give SSJ, how much was it? It was like $100,000 or $75,000. He would just cut him a check. He would say, it's exactly like all the times that Paul left his apartment early. Excuse me, voice just cracked. It was just like all the times that Paul left his apartment early. The only difference was that they were offering him $100,000 to do it. So that I was like, oh, okay. I mean, that sucks that you have to leave, but I guess you don't want to deal with an eviction. So, hey, I mean, I guess you'll just take the $100K. And he was like, yeah, I'll probably just do that. So a few weeks go by, and I'm like, hey, SSJ, do we have to leave? I mean, what's going on? He's like, yep, I got a contract signed and everything. We're ready to go. You have to be out of here on this date. So that was the date we all had to be out. And then the date comes and goes, and I see SSJ after that, not at the house, but we met up to do something. I think he was like giving me some of the electronics or something. And I say, hey, did you ever get that $100,000? And he said, oh yeah, well, guess what? The guy, the landlord, showed up and he only gave me a check for $50,000. And I'm like, well, what do you mean, Brent? I thought you had a contract. Like, how does he only show up with a check for $50,000? Like, you should have just kept the house. And he's like, yeah, I know. And at this point, like, I'm done with the entire thing. Like, so I'm just like, okay, well, interesting story. Goodbye. And then after that, I hear on Harvey's stream that he got a check for $50K, which is what he told me, and he's being sued. So I don't know. So basically what he got, based on what he has said publicly, is that he got a check for $50K and he got an RV supposedly worth, a military truck supposedly worth $70K, which he claims is worth over $100K now. So he, in his mind, he has made out with $150,000. So, like, I mean, hey, if he got more than that, then there's no way I could know. I mean, it's between him and the landlord. Brent scammed and caught it all, kept it all. You know, it's that's funny. I think he's in Texas right now. What do you? He's not in Hawaii. First of all, how is he going to get that military truck to Hawaii? He went to Hawaii like weeks before the company shut down because he went to go to his daughter's wedding. I don't think he was. Yeah, Paul got a trip to Japan. That's pretty good. I mean, let's be honest. I don't think Paul would have wanted the RV, the military truck. Like, that would have been more trouble than it's worth. Like, we already have parked it in Austin. $70K dump truck. You guys, hold on. I knew you guys. Hold on, I don't know if I should show this. I have. Yesterday, I thought you guys would ask me about the RV and what I thought about it. And I wanted to prove that I always thought it was like a weird idea, like in a gamble. So I screenshotted my texts from Brent from October of 2018, 3 months before we got the RV, of him showing me the listing for the RV and asking me what I thought about it. And what I said, like, okay, I'm going to show you this real quick. I don't care if you guys don't believe me. If you want to say this is doctored, go ahead. But I have showed Kyle, Victor, I've showed a lot of people this text on my phone. And I'll show it to you real quick. Hold on. How do I get this? Where did I save this? It's so funny. Don't worry. It doesn't expose anything bad about anyone except me, like it just exposes my texts. All right. Let's see. Let's see if you guys can read this. This is from November 20th, Tuesday, November 20th at 3:31 p.m. This is the first inkling. This is the first inkling of the military truck. This is the first time I've ever sent a text about it or know anything about it. So I get sent to Craigslist listing for the text. I'm the blue guy. I say, that, my friend, is not an RV. And then he says, it will be. Do you like it? I think it has so much more potential than an RV, which it may have well had more potential than an RV. I don't know at this point. But I know RVs cost like $70,000 to $80,000, like brand new luxury RVs. So I say, if I'm being completely honest, I fail to see what potential it has. Not only will it cost a lot to make it livable, but even then it'll be less comfortable than a normal or even cheaper RV. It will fit fewer people as well. It'll also have a higher rate of failure, and fewer people will know how to fix it. It would definitely be cool for a day or two, but over time, I worry that it would bring us more problems than it's worth. I don't get a text back after this. So, like, I always show this to people in person when they ask me about the RV. Just so you know, whenever people, after the RV fiasco, the military check fiasco, the number one question I was asked when people would come up and see me and be like, "Oh, you're Jacob. Hey, would you mind me asking you about the military truck?" They all wanted to know about the military truck, and I would show them this text message, like from months and months and months ago. So, if you think it's fake, fine. I understand texts are easy to doctor. But this is literally like, I don't know how I could have doctored the date. Like, this is just what I said. This is also what I sent to, I didn't send this to Paul, but I also said this to Paul. So, honestly, to be honest with you guys, if the company was going to fail anyway, I feel like the military truck was actually funnier in the long run, you know? Because, like, I find it funnier that SSJ got a giant military truck rather than a luxury RV. He couldn't read it. So, yeah, I just find that funny. It's just the funniest part is, like, almost everything I said in that text is exactly what happened. I'm a seer. So it's just funny. Yeah, I mean, I do think the RV was funnier in the long run than an actual luxury RV. But yeah, I was flabbergasted. I was like, I couldn't believe what was going on. I was almost surprised that Paul wanted it as well. Because like Paul's always been kind of like, he likes luxury. It's just like anyone. Like he wants to sleep in a big bed. He doesn't want to sleep in. Like also the RV also seemed kind of small. Like I don't know. I was always told like it's huge. Like I was told several times that the RV was bigger than any RV we had ever used in the past. But when I finally saw it in person, it didn't seem like, it seemed smaller than all the RVs we had used in the past, and it didn't even have any furniture or appliances in it. Like this was without a bed, this was without a shower, this was without a couch, cabinets, like chairs. Like maybe I just had bad eyesight. Like I don't know how in the world that was bigger. Funny though. Purple Think, thank you for the $1. He donated $1 and said, what do you think about this clip where Ice talks about his finances? Let's see.
Imagine making like 1.5 million and not having anything to show for it.
Oh, I have plenty to show for it.
Oh wait, hold on.
He is my favorite.
Okay.
Financially.
Okay, I have a legacy to show for it. Okay, financially, Gary, financially, I could live.
Imagine getting paid in legacy.
Okay, Gary, financially, I could live in Austin for the next 2 years if I didn't stream ever again.
Oh, so you do have money saved?
I mean, I have some money saved. You know how cheap Austin is? Like, Austin's mad cheap, dude.
Imagine making like...
I guess it depends on how much he considers living, you know, for the next 2 years in Austin. I don't know how much his rent is, but let's just say it's $2K a month. So you need how much in rent? 48,000? I don't know. Like legacy. I mean, to be fair, that is a good answer. He does have like legacy. I mean, that's valuable. I want legacy. I don't know. I don't know his current finances. I can't tell you what he meant by that. Does he have 40? If his rent is $2,000 a month, if it is, I don't know. He would need 48,000 to live for the next 2 years on just rent alone. I don't know how he has raised 48,000 in 2 months. So I don't know. he must be the greatest. I mean, he did say he went to college for financial planning or finances, right? So he must be 4K. Okay, so he needs 80. he needs 100K at least in rent. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, there's either two options. He has a secret savings account that he was able to siphon money into without me knowing, even though he never looked at his bank account, and then I had all the information, access to all his accounts, and looked at them every day. Or there is no savings account. I don't know. He might have. I mean, didn't he have a sponsor from DibDab, that Streamlabs app? Like, it's very possible they paid him like 20K. Like, I don't know. If he got a few sponsors in a row and they paid him all at once, like, he could have that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you guys, to be fair, you guys don't even need me to say anything. Like, you know that he said at the end of the Streamer House saga that he was broke. And now, 2 months later, he's saying he has enough to live for 2 years on 4K rent. So, like, what? Like, I'm not even saying anything. Like, this is not exposing him. You draw your own conclusions. For one day. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I was keeping up on that, but I don't know, like, what went on with that, with the DibDab sponsor.